right, we're going.
Hey.
Hey.
Good. So, Trevor, why don't you just introduce yourself?
All right, I can absolutely do that. I am Trevor Hayes. I also go by Trev the Punching Bag on Instagram and my YouTube channel. I am a full-time boxing and Muay Thai coach. I also do a lot of work with MMA fighters for their striking. Outside of that, I am also a judge working on becoming a referee for combat sports.
Oh, cool.
I've also I work actively as an announcer and commentator for fights as well.
Very cool.
I'm a very, very amateur comedian. Recently just hosted my very first showcase, so that's going to be a regular thing. Got some doors opened up with that. And I feel like there is... Oh, and then just started a YouTube channel for instructional videos, trying to work on monetizing YouTube like everyone else in the punchy, kicky business. So, yeah.
Cool, man.
Having a lot of fun with it, yeah.
So how long have you been into fighting?
I started kickboxing 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I walked onto a wrestling mat when I was 9 years old, and I just haven't looked back. Yeah, I'm very lucky that I grew up when in the UFC generation, I feel.
Yeah.
There was like a stigma on it as a kid, but man, I'll tell you what, I remember that being on it. I was 6 years old, and my dad ordered the first pay-per-view. He saw a guy get soccer kicked, tooth knocked out. He turned it off, and he watched, and I just went, dude, come on. And my dad went, all right, no looking back. And then, yeah, so,
That's funny.
man, I've been into martial arts and combat sports my whole life. It's all I've ever done.
Awesome. Have you fought professionally or in
No,
competitions?
No. I had my first smoker when I was 16. Stopped competing when I was 24, maybe, I think. I had like 8 fights fall through. I went through like 8 fight camps, and I just went, man, this is not, like, I didn't want to be a world champion. And that was tough for a lot of people to understand. Like, if you want to be in this just to fight, a lot of people didn't get that back then. I did not want to be a world champion. I just enjoyed getting into fights and stuff like that, man. So I kind of just went like, you know what? There's really definitely no future in like the whole fighting and the way people look at it. So I'm going to stick to my training, and then I became a coach. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been a fight coach?
Full-time, close to 5 years now.
Okay.
And before that, maybe 4 years, 5 years. Coming up on 5 years, full-time. And before that, I was an assistant coach for a long time. So I've gotten a lot of good recognition as a very technical and experienced coach, and that's from my time as an assistant coach.
Right.
Like, you can't be a chef unless you're a sous chef.
Oh,
Right, yeah. Yep. Now, in Muay Thai, are there belts or different levels?
Oh, like rankings? Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're either an amateur or you're a pro, you're good or you're bad.
Okay.
Like, that's it, man.
Get the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's like, all right, you just kind of suck still. And it's like, all right, thanks, man. Like, that's how it is.
Okay.
Or you're world champion.
Did you ever train with Paul Sum in Ashboro back in the day? Any?
Man, no, I didn't. No, I've heard that name talked about a lot, and I never got to really
Man, he
interact
used
with him.
to kick the shit out of me.
Heard of him too.
Yeah, man, I was a big guy, so I would try to go to war with him, and that was a mistake.
I always
Because
loved
he would
sparring
kick
bigger
me,
guys.
he would take me down like, oh, you big guy, I'd take you down, and just would chop me down, man, like a
dude.
tree.
People don't know what a good leg kick
Oh,
is like,
man.
man. It's like a party trick sometimes when I'm at the bar. Like, dude, come on, kick this guy in the leg. And I'm like,
Man, my arm's up too high, catch me right here.
rib, yeah.
I'm talking about massive bruises, right? Well, next time you know to block it. It doesn't matter.
no.
It still hurts like hell.
It just gets you right in the soul.
That's right. I had some, and he'd front kick me sometimes, and I'd have
Oh, yeah,
massive.
it gets good, like, teep or push kick. You see, like, the toe marks dug in.
Yeah, man. I'm like, this is rough, man. But I did that for, when I was glutton for punishment. I went through that same phase, but a much shorter window.
I've just always been good at taking a punch, man.
Yeah, I skipped that window. Just stayed out of that window.
You came up and trained one time. You remember that? You remember we were doing some stuff upstairs,
yeah.
But he wasn't really big into bodybuilding at the time. And
I more just watched.
Yeah. He was more, he didn't want to tear anything because when you're building, when you're
yeah,
bodybuilding,
you
can't.
I get on a lot of people about that. Like, you cannot strength train like you're trying to be a truck and fight at the same time.
No.
Like, your muscle groups don't, like, people tear biceps and pecs all the time, man. People have had such a
Yeah.
They're like, I want to get stronger, so I'm going to do all this. And I'm like, you're going to rip your shoulders out of socket, man. Like, you can't throw a punch like that. What's wrong with you?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was training for bodybuilding, you can't do athletic things and train that way.
The patterns.
You're overtraining anyway.
And the patterns don't match up.
Yeah, you need to train lighter.
I mean, it feels great just to get that heavy lifting every now and then, man. But if you want to be actually like athletic, you cannot do that every day. Yeah. There's a difference between being in shape and like being strong and being athletic. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, hey, man, I got so much CTE and I just got so much stuff rolling through my head. I'm always like, oh, wait, what were we just talking about? I'm like have you seen that movie, Memento?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm like that a lot of times, yeah. Like a violent goldfish, I forget stuff every 10 seconds.
That's fine. We've got plenty of time.
What's her name in Dory? And Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
I don't know what the recall window is for her, but
It's a few seconds.
Yeah.
No short term.
no short term. But so you were talking about you're doing this training and coaching, and I know that you actually train and coach one of my partners. But where are you out of? Is it Triad? Is it Raleigh?
Out of Raleigh.
Out of Raleigh?
Yes, sir. Yep, Raleigh, North Carolina. I've lived in the RDU for over 20 years now. Originally from Virginia Beach, so it's just definitely become my home. I moved away a couple times, but man, I love Raleigh. Yeah.
What's the school you're out of up there?
Knuckle Up Boxing.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
it's owned by a good friend of mine, Randy Wood. And I know the people are behind it, the partners, and it's just a good group of people. Yeah, I'll have to bring them up here one time. So
That'd be cool. Is
it's
there a big fight scene up there? Like a big Muay Thai?
It's growing. I'm really happy to see how many schools there are now. I remember back in the day there was just like one school.
Reality Combat. When I was back in the day, I would travel.
Yeah. Team Rock.
Team Rock. That's who I would.
Yeah.
When I was probably, this is like early 20s, 23, 24. I wasn't dedicated to it. I mean, but when I would go, that's who I would go see.
They have a monstrous school in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
All the 82nd guys, all the military guys. It's madhouse, but great fighters. But there's a Team Rock affiliate I used to coach out of in Raleigh. I've known all those guys, came up with them for a long time.
Right.
There was REMA, the Raleigh Institute of Martial Arts. They all started in there, and that was, I think, like early 2000, and they were the only school in town, really. Like now we've got 12, 15 schools in like the RDU area of like, like everyone has competitive fighters, man. It's so great to see the opportunities for people to train. And that's why I love Raleigh, just seeing the opportunity and the scene grow. We don't have as many fights going on as I like.
Right.
But, we're working on some things to hopefully get some more fights in the area.
That's cool.
So we're excited.
What you need is a future Dana White.
Hey, I'm the future Joe Rogan. I just did a different set of drugs in my 20s than he did. I'm way more morally corrupt than that guy.
He did or currently doing now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely in my past. Don't worry.
No, I meant him.
Oh, him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody. I don't know if everybody, but a good large portion of the population goes through that in like a window. Maybe it's like 16 to 25. Mm-hmm. If they're going to experiment with anything, that's probably the neighborhood they're going to do it. You feel invincible up until, I don't know, for me it was about 30, But
cut back from the hard stuff.
Man, just everything. I felt like an adult at 30.
I felt the fear of becoming an adult at 30, and that's when I just changed drug habits a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit. But I don't like the thought of growing up. It's too scary.
Man, we're all young at heart, man. In my head, I don't miss 18 to 25, like as far as like the shit I was doing, because I was just bringing so much stress in my life, and the drama and the all the mess that came with it. I miss the way my body felt, but that's
invincible.
Those are personal choices, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly, I'm choosing to eat. I'm not currently, but when I got fat because I chose to eat shit, and choosing to eat shit today meant that I was choosing to be overweight tomorrow.
Yep.
Right. So like, I don't think that 18 to 25. The youth I'm missing, I think it was the dedication to living a healthier lifestyle. So that's why I've picked that back up, and I immediately start feeling better. literally within a matter of days or weeks.
You've done really well with your diet.
Yeah.
Couple months.
It doesn't even feel like a diet; it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah,
now.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
I've gotten on a lot of comics about that. Like, it's crazy to see like how like comedy and health goes hand in hand. I tell some of these comics like, man, stop drinking so much. You're in your early 20s. Like, it's sometimes good to have a clear head before you go on stage. Like chug a beer before you go up, but like. Clean your diet up a couple of days before you go up, and like everything gets a little bit clearer. Like,
that seems like the interesting thing about comedy, though, is it's such a broad, diverse group of people. So
many different. But that's
and you have some comics that are, they struggle with depression and they've had tough experiences, and that's part of why they are who they are. They're so funny.
It's the exact same group of people in fighting. Like I fell in love with comedy. I've always loved comedy. Just always loved. I mean, as a kid, Jim Carrey was like my hero because you hear his story about like being in a van and he'd make his family laugh so they'd feel good. Then got his $20 million check, and I was like, that's what's up. I like that. And always been a big like Doug Stanhope fan because he's so dark and twisted. Bill Burr, but you see all these comics and fighters have the same backstories, man. Like I'm amazed at how many comics I've met. I'm like, you sound just like one of my fighters you guys had the same childhood, but you just don't like to get hit. Holy crap. That's awesome. Yeah. There's a lot of diversity in comedy that people don't see. And then you have the people that aren't super mopey and depressed showing up at shows, and people are like, weren't you like sad? And I'm like, I don't know. I like what I do. Sorry. Yeah. I don't have to make fun of my day job at a comedy show. I make fun of everything else.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Everybody else's day job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just recently got into comedy too. I'm like an open micer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people I'm just an open micer. I don't even consider myself a comic. Like, there's levels to comedy, like there are in, like how you're asking about Muay Thai if there's belts.
Right, yeah.
In comedy, it's like your white belt is that you're just an open micer. You're supposed to be that way for like a year and a half, 2 years, I feel. Just to figure out your own voice, or if you want to do it. Like,
right, yeah.
Figure out what it takes.
Well, I enjoy writing, so
that's my favorite thing.
Why
it is the writing, and that helps my coaching a lot too. Like thought to paper and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The writing has become my favorite part. Getting up and bombing, so easy. That is so easy. What I hate how easy it is to go up there and mess up. That is but writing, it's
hard. Not fun though.
I've had one horrible bomb, but I knew it was going to happen, and so I did it anyways. It was like that day of like, I feel like I'm going to get knocked out. I should go do an open mic.
It's
and it was
part
horrible.
Of it.
But even if I don't have a good set, I like to watch the audience, because like with a new bit, you know it's supposed to bomb. So just look at the audience and just see, you might not hear them laugh, but you can see like something registers. You go, oh, there's something.
It's a good premise.
It's a good premise you can work on the next time. Like I've had a room just be dead silent for 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
However, like you get like a few little like, and I'm like, okay, good. Like to me, I'm like, there's something there. Is that considered a bomb? Yeah, but I got something out of it.
Or it's pity.
Yeah, or it's pity. It could be pity. But then it was great because I had some comic telling me, I was like, dude, that was horrible. Like, why are you smiling the whole time? And while we were talking, I had like 10 people go, man, great set. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you laugh? Like, that was upsetting. But
so
no, it's like
you
can have a good set.
Yeah.
And just the room doesn't want to laugh at it that day.
Well, a lot of times open mics, there's a lot of comics there too. So it's hard.
I met you or I saw you go up at the one here, the Idiot Box.
That was a good night. That was a
Friday fun night.
But
that was a Thursday night.
There were real customers, like regular customers there. It wasn't all comics. It was actually that night. It was mostly customers.
It was,
So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was surprised at how many comics went up that night. That was a crazy.
There's a lot of comics in this market in Greensboro.
I'm so new to the comedy scene; it's blown me away.
It's not unusual to see 25, 30 comics at the Idiot Box.
That's wild.
On open mic nights.
Oh, that is so cool.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But that Friday night show was awesome because there were so many of the crowd stayed over for the open mic.
Yeah, I mean, I went up towards the end. There were still quite a few people there that weren't comics.
There's probably 60 people in the room. Yeah,
It was amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great night.
It was cool.
I'm gonna have to come check that out.
Yeah.
I've heard now multiple
spot.
people talking about it, and I've never been there, so it's definitely on my list.
It's a fun little spot, man. It makes sense. Like
when stuff opens back up.
Yeah. What about in Raleigh? Where's the spot? So you came down to the Idiot Box, but is there spots in Raleigh you go to?
Yeah, there's Good Nights Comedy Club, which has been around for
Dusty was talking about
ever. Yeah, Dusty goes up. I've seen Dusty there quite a bit. So it's 3 floors. They have a downstairs bar, upstairs bar, and they'll do shows in the upstairs. The downstairs and the mid-level is the main showroom where they have like the big comics go up, and they have a really popular open mic. Like they have a couple hundred people come out to watch that. Like they'll on Tuesday night. Packed house, just for open mic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like there's sometimes it's not always like that.
Is it hard to get into the?
You got to sign up over the weekend,
okay.
and it's all like it's not really an open mic.
Do you have to audition for it or?
No. You just send in your information and they pick randomly. So and they do some raffle spots. So to me, it's not really an open mic, but it's an open mic
like a
comedy
next level.
Yeah, no, it's still like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's all
okay.
Yeah, there's just like an open mic to me is. You show up, you sign up, you're on and you're
right,
not.
Yeah,
this is a pre-registered mic. A good one to check out is Dirty Bull in Durham on Friday nights. They have a great show at 7 or 7:30. Rob puts that on, and you'll have 40, 50 people in there that are all customers inside a brewery. But Good Nights is the spot. A lot of small open mics popping up. Myself and a couple other comics.
I was going to say, you're doing an open mic in Raleigh too, right?
Yeah, at the Davy in downtown Raleigh. It's a really cool venue. We had 70 people at the first show.
Awesome.
We did a showcase, had a few open mic spots, and I just kind of pumped it out, talked to people. I know a lot of people in the area, and just so fun back for that one. And but no, we had 70 people pack out the room, and it was great. And so we're gonna do a regular showcase and open mics here and there. Talking to a few other friends that have bars just to keep a rotating open mic thing going, man.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
A lot of comics are lazy about putting mics together and maintaining, or you hear them complain, I don't know why it's not growing. And I'm like, because no one follows your social media, or you don't post about it, or you don't do it. It's like, shut up, man. Like, put some effort into it, guys.
Yeah.
Like, all it takes is a couple posts a week and just talking to people, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even a good comic, but I've brought out like 25 people just to watch me go up for 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a big venue too.
Just
build
talk
excitement.
to people. Yeah, but
like anything
Sounds
else.
like we need to buy a spot in Raleigh, a bar and some floor space.
I mean, I know some guys that'll probably go in with you. To be honest, man, I know like the guys that own the bars on Glenwood, man, they have a lot of stuff going, so it could be a good little little meeting for you guys.
How many comics are in Raleigh?
A lot.
I know there's some really good ones that have come out of that area.
Freddie Valois is on fire right now. Yeah, Freddie Valois is on fire. You got guys like Matt White, Mark Brady. They've been around for a long time.
I met Mark Brady. He's cool.
Yeah,
I want to
he's
have him on the show. Yeah.
I love Mark. That Adonis. We all give him like crap about how good he looks.
He's funny though. His writing's really good.
So good. Yeah, he opened up for Andrew Santino and crushed.
Oh wow,
it.
that's huge.
Yeah. And then what are some other good ones? Yeah, I got like my really good friends. Emilio De Leon, Jacob. Emilio was with me at Idiot Box.
Okay.
Chris Rivley, he's coming up pretty good. He's starting to host a lot of mics, get a lot of attention. Chris was my old Muay Thai student. And,
that's cool.
Even then, when he was 19, he was like, I want to be a comedian. I was like, all right, well, do it. And then he pushed me into.
It's great that he knows that early. Yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend Talia, she's a comic. She gets featured on a lot of like shows around the area. Jacob Rice is a good friend of mine. He's a wild man. He's doing really well. He's putting together a lot of shows. Former bull rider. Now he does comedy. Yeah. Goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this group of misfits.
Well, it's like I said, it's such a diverse group of people.
Yeah. And
from every aspect of life.
Yeah. All my fighters are hanging out with comics now. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I can imagine us getting along though.
Oh, I have just such a group of knuckleheads of students. They're all like honest, hardworking people, and they like to goof off. And so then like the comics like, that's so badass you fight, and the fighters, that's so badass you do comedy. And I'm like, well, just hang out together and just and like they just make material off of each other now. It's great. I love it. Yeah,
that's cool. Now, do you are you a full-time fight instructor or fight coach?
Yes. Yeah, full time. I recently picked up a gig at the Village in Raleigh as a head of security for my buddy's bar. It's like a bar with like 3 buildings attached to it, and it's huge. And he was like, "Hey, run security." And I went, "Sweet." So I officially had like 1 shift in before it got shut down.
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh well, hey, depression's back. Great." So no, yeah. I teach 3 classes a week, and I have a bunch of privates. So cool. That keeps me going. And then I was like, all right, I could do some side work, and then got that security job because I also do like the commentating, announcing, judging. That pays well, but it's like every couple weekends, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Like the security is like, all right, I can do this like steadily. So yeah, that's mainly it right now, but pretty much full-time punching bag.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you actually been into comedy? Like, when did you start doing stand-up?
Just over a year.
Okay.
Yeah, just over a year. I'm super new to it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, in my first couple months, I did like 50 mics or something like that. Like
wow.
I was like, oh, what? I can do one you can do one almost every night of the week in Raleigh. Some nights you can
that's a good thing about the bigger cities.
Yeah, you could hit 3 in some night. And like, so within like my first couple weeks, I was doing 3 mics in a night. And I just got that knocked out of the way, and I went, yeah, I can do this as a hobby. Like, I just really wanted to jump into the deep end, and then I just kind of paddled on over to like the shallows again, just to hang out and just build. Yeah. Now I try to go up at least twice a week. Yeah, but man, I love it. Yeah.
How often do you write?
Lately, not since all this stuff started. I haven't been writing as much. Just I've got a few little bits down, but I really try to write every day. Just something. Yeah, even if it's going back and just looking at old, like I'll look at a bit and read it like 1,000 times in my head, And even just like, I'll scribble out a word and rewrite it. And I'm like, all right, now I got to rewrite this whole thing. Even if it means just rewriting a bit, I'm still writing every day.
Right.
So
well, that's good. Yeah. I take a lot of notes, but since all this stuff started, I haven't written a lot either because I've just been so busy trying to figure this out. But I've still been taking notes. I take notes on my phone.
I've gotten better about doing like
just record it really fast.
Talk to text on my phone. Yeah.
And,
I've gotten way better about that.
Just recorded my notes on there, and then I go on my computer and I have all my premises listed out. And I'll just write them, and I'll write each premise in final draft. And usually I'll just get up. Normally just sit down and write for like an hour or something and just write out all my thoughts on a certain premise.
Yeah.
And then go back and then start trying to break it down.
My favorite thing to do still is I'll write some stuff down and then I'll walk for an hour and just let it toss around.
I'll think about it.
And then, if I sit down, I have a really hard time just writing stuff out sometimes. But if I want to write, I'll jot down my ideas. I get them in my head and I go, all right, I take a couple rips and I go for a walk for an hour with my dog. Then I come back and just boom, and I'll knock out a couple pages of stuff. That's my favorite process.
That's cool.
I don't do it exactly like that, but I walk and talk a lot. I'll be pacing.
Yeah,
literally.
My brain, if I'm sitting down, I'm like a slug.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. Yeah.
I'll be outside my house, down the driveway, outside of one of our buildings, just walking and talking, and people are like, "I'll leave. I will be on the phone." I did it yesterday. You remember we were gonna meet.
Left, yeah.
I was on the phone, like I was hard at it, and I was like walking, and then I was like, "Oh fuck, I'll get in the car," and I'm on the phone. I get down the road. I'm making calls. I'm like, I'm in the zone, right, and I'm just driving, and I see a message. He's like, "Hey man, did you leave?" And I was like, "I don't know, an hour away." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, man, sorry, I get on the phone. I get in the zone, and I'm."
Yeah, I've done it with walking. Like, you ever seen the movie The Naked Gun with
yeah,
Leslie
yeah,
Nielsen?
Of course,
the scene where he's monologuing and he goes, "Where the hell am I?" Like, he's in L.A. Then he's like in the desert. I swear to God, that is me. Some days in Raleigh, I just go, "Why am I in the hood right now? I pay money to not live over here. How did I wind up over here? What's happening?" And I'll just walk for an hour to a random direction.
Yeah. You got to get your nav out. How do I get back home?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm always
all
thinking, like all the time. I mean, constantly thinking. But that's why I try to always remember to, if I have an idea, to record it. But I like to, when I sit down to write though, like if I just make myself sit there for at least 10 minutes, I'll just get in this flow state, man. I'm lost.
The flow state for writing, I heard people talk about it, and then when it happened one day, I went, "Oh, this is really neat." It's like figuring out how to surf a little bit.
And I can sit there for like, I could sit there for 6 hours. If I'm
do you write well with other people? Like,
I can,
do you? Yeah, like I have an easy time when I get other comics together. We just drink coffee and just shoot the breeze, and we just kind of like just rip on each other. And
I've never written comedy with other people.
Oh yeah, it's a fun thing to, and it's not even, you kind of just you just talk about stuff, and just being a comic, you just kind of have that nature of just making fun of stuff,
right?
And you end up finding great material by just shooting the breeze like a group. It's like, man, I got to write that down.
Yeah,
or you even go like,
good,
you have an idea and another comic just really runs with it. You go, all right, that's your idea, man, like that, and they go, what? And it's like, yeah, that's your bit. Run with it. Yeah.
What do they call that again? What was that?
Giving each other tags.
Is that kind of like that? Give
I
a
guess
tag?
so. What's give a tag? I'm
or
not. Or
writing jokes together.
Writing,
yeah. Dusty's talked about doing that.
Okay, yeah.
I may sit down with him and just.
I had no idea Dusty. I thought Dusty
material.
was from Raleigh because I'd seen him around Raleigh so much. When
he
I
just
started.
travels a lot.
Yeah, good for him. I didn't know he was in Greensboro. That's great to see. Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually from.
He's from Denton, North Carolina, which is like a tiny,
super small town. Yeah.
And apparently, from what he says, I
think he's an hour from the Idiot Box or close to it.
Wow.
He's just commuting like crazy.
Yeah.
Good. You have to. Like when I was younger, I would go sleep in my truck out front of a gym just to wake up and go train. That was like a couple hours away at the beach or something. Like that's. Right. Yeah, you have to do that to get good.
When I was getting into acting, I studied at a really good acting school in Charlotte.
Oh, cool.
The Actors Lab for 5 years, and I would drive there every week, and it's it's an hour and a half each way.
You have to, yeah.
And then I would drive there multiple times a week just to to study and work with other actors too.
Yeah, I was doing that on the regular until a couple of years ago. Driving my friend's school out in Winston-Salem, 8 Points Muay Thai. I make regular trips all the time, like to the coast to train with friends, to Winston to train with friends, Charlotte to train with my old boxing coach. Just, you have to stay traveling like that, man. You can't get better like staying in one spot.
No. No,
but you also have to learn how to like grow in your spot until you can outgrow it. Like I get so bad when people think they've outgrown their spot too much. I'm like, no, like travel and stay where you're at. Then you know when it's time to leave.
Well, everything's a process too. You have to learn it. So
Yeah.
it's like with stand up. I'm still learning the the different, I guess, structures and the process.
Yeah, Sam Mazzani showed me some good ropes before I did my first mic. He showed me the Christopher Titus method of you kind of have a story and you just write out, like, let's say you want to go to your grandma's house. So you write out going to your grandma's house, whatever, but you leave a line after each sentence and then you just rip on that first sentence about, I woke up and decided to go to my grandmother's house. Thank God I did this. Like, and so you have your second line to it.
Yeah.
And that helped me get like a starting process to try and just learn how to shadow box a bit with writing. Yeah.
No, I'm actually a storyteller. That's more of my writing.
I've been working on that.
Observational storytelling. It's either stuff about my personal experiences or things in society that annoy me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
something in the media or something.
Storytelling
political.
is something. If you want to be a comic, you have to work on storytelling. It's
Maybe.
like if you want to fight, you have to work on like your cardio, your conditioning, and with comedy, learning how to tell a story like in between bits, it fills it in. Like everyone's end goal is what? To have an hour, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you can't tell stories, you don't have an hour. You can't do an hour of punch. I mean, some comics can.
Some can, yeah.
Some
it's crazy.
But that's like, there's maybe, 10 that can do that? And how many comics are there?
I guess there's probably several that do that, more of that type of writing.
But it's also, those are guys that are like 20 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're starting out, you're trying to work on a 10-minute set or a 15-minute set,
like
and you're a couple years in.
Jeselnik, he's more of a...
He almost tells like
short
stories.
Bits.
Yeah, like it's like short stories.
But they're almost like long jokes.
He does, yeah.
But he does a lot of them back to back.
But that's what works well for him. Like I tell people, like you can, I'll have a bit, like it's 3 minutes to build up to one joke, and people go, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, because I can take this 3 minutes, and at this laugh, then I have 2 more minutes to talk and a minute to get a laugh. You have to build your punchlines, and storytelling kind of helps you weave those little 3-minute punchlines together. Like a good punchline, you can't do one just off the bat. Not everybody's Mitch Hedberg.
My bits are like 3 to 5 minutes typically, and I've got some that they all link into each other. They all have what's the tie-in?
Like an interchange, or they're like Legos from hell.
Segue.
They all segue to the next bit.
Yeah,
but
that's a big thing about storytelling. You have to learn how to like weave it together. You have to learn how to weave your bits together.
Do a lot of callbacks, but what's difficult is you have this chunk, this 3-minute section or 4-minute section or maybe 5-minute bit, and then you have to find funny tags within it. Like you have to have, you can't just, because if you go too long without a punchline, you just bore people.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm still trying to understand punchlines. It's like going into boxing, everyone wants to find a knockout, and I'm like, I just like to jab people. So I understood, like with comedy, if you get some good jabs in,
that's great analogy.
I said that to someone else. They're like, "Oh, that's a great analogy," and I went, "I'll keep saying it." Then cool.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Jabs are very effective.
They are. Like, so a lot of my bits, it's not like this crazy hard laugh. You have a lot of jabs, and I tell people it's like winning a fight. You might not get the knockout, but if you can win 5 rounds or 3 rounds, like whatever, from jabs, you did your job. Like you got material to work with. So when I have like a 3 or 4 minutes and it's a little like ha 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 ha, like, and it's a little chuckle. Like I've just been jabbing the audience.
Yep.
And maybe at the end my little bit of screaming might get a loud like laugh. It does that sometimes. My Gordon Ramsay cocaine thing that Mark Brady was like, keep working on that. That works well for you. And I was like, I got experience with it. So, but yeah, it's like a lot of little jabs. And then at the end, it becomes like an actual, like, oh, that's the punchline. But like, I'll have bits where it's just 5 minutes of jabbing people. And
but you get some of these pro guys, man, they just like, it's just knockout punches one after the other.
But man, it's like overnight success takes 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And like even in like some people like, Trevor, man, I see you spar with these guys that have like these titles and like you're fucking them up. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, because I still trained like 3 times as long as they have, man. Like, of course I'm going to look better. Like, I know some comics that can go up and they've looked at it like 12 years and they can just talk.
Yeah.
And they just know their tempo and cadence so well. So if I just put my gloves on right now, I could just get in a rhythm, bop, 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 and go. And that experience takes time. So that's why, like, I love seeing that new people work on storytelling. Right, because you have to learn how to tell a story. You can't just do punchlines off the bat. You can. Some can. Don't get me wrong. But for
Well, I have a
everyone
lot
else.
of experience
Yeah.
in writing, so that's
okay.
that's-
Is that from acting or like writing out
'cause
scenes?
I've
and
been
stuff?
acting and writing for 7 years.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you have a ton of writing experience.
Yeah,
for
so the
comedy.
writing
Yeah.
is a lot easier for me than the stage.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And he wrote a graphic novel.
Get out of here. What?
Well, I've written a few screenplays.
Screenplays,
but
yeah.
Oh,
one of my
neat.
screenplays I'm going to
That's right.
publish it as a graphic novel.
That's it, yeah.
It won a lot of
Right on.
awards last year in the
Wow, cool.
festival
Send me a
circuit.
link.
Like,
Is
like
there anything to
15,
read
like
or-
15 awards. I don't remember how many awards was it?
13.
13. Oh,
Whoa,
sorry, 13.
what?
13 awards.
That's badass.
every
man.
every couple of days, be like, Neil won another award. Oh,
And they
he won
were all
another award.
good competitions. Like there weren't like these fake festivals. It was,
Yeah.
it was all legit. You know?
It wasn't like three dudes that made their own committee to
Right,
get
right,
awards.
right,
yeah.
I'm really happy with
Oh,
the way
that
it
is
went,
so cool. Yeah. How have you felt with the transition from doing your writing to like, I mean, because you're clearly set in like the ways that you write. What's been the big transition of like your writing to comedy now?
I feel like the acting
turning the interview
background
around.
helped a lot.
you good?
I was fascinated. I'm like, oh, tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah.
I feel like the acting background helped a lot
Yeah.
going into stand-up, but and definitely with the writing, because I understand how to write. It's just, and I'm a structured guy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I write a screenplay, I follow the 3-act structure,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my own style, but I'm still a very structured writer.
Mm-hmm.
But then with comedy, I'm still learning the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for me to write a premise, write out a story, and I have a point of view about it. But then trying to go through and make it, find the funny in it every few seconds,
Right. Yeah.
every 10, 15 seconds or something, try to find a tag or something that's maybe ridiculous about it, or something that's absurd or nonsensical that you can throw in there that people would find humor in. And also, I guess, the type of material I write, too, is going to probably appeal to a certain audience.
Mm-hmm.
But,
That's the hardest thing about comedy is that the audience has no idea who the hell you are.
right, yeah.
So a lot of comics get upset going, how come they don't get it? Well, because they don't know who you are.
Well, anytime
Like,
I've done...
I show up looking like an asshole, so they expect me to be an asshole.
Well, anytime I've done a bit or done a set in front of regular people, they've enjoyed it pretty well. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I've gotten really good feedback from...
I've eaten shit really bad
Oh, yeah.
a few times, too, like many times. But
To me, even a good night is still if the audience doesn't get it, but you see the comics in the back going, oh, fuck, that's good. Like, other comics will understand what the comic's talking about, but
Yeah.
the audience is just
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a term for that. I can't think of what it is, but yeah,
yeah,
I read.
feeling good about bombing.
I feel like he's ran some things by me, like, oh, he's working out something right, and I was like, hey man, even if we were talking about this, even if the crowd doesn't get it, if we think it's funny,
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I have a bit about like putting my dog down, and it's one of the darkest, funniest. It starts with this like dark, like people will laugh and go, "Oh fuck you," and like all my friends go, "That's your best bit." But then it also kind of helps set the precedence of like, all right, this guy's gonna be an asshole. So
Yeah, yeah.
like you have to have like if you are doing an open mic, like it's good to have a punchline off the bat. Like someone explained,
Yeah.
like you can go ahead and get that boom hard shot off the bat, and the audience is hooked. And you can just kind of work out. Then you have
Yeah.
like 2.5 minutes just to
Yeah.
bomb if you want. Like, but it can
Also
kind of set that
something I'm-
tone of like that person you are.
Yeah.
Like if you, a lot of comics I see will do their first 30, 45 seconds is just about them describing how they feel about the day, and they go to the material, and that 45 seconds sets the tone for the rest of their open mic
Yeah.
set. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good move.
Dusty's really good at
Yeah.
that. He's good at going up and he'll just riff for about 45 seconds.
Have you met Aaron Ransom?
I haven't.
Oh, dude, this guy will go on stage, has nothing written down. He just leaves a construction site, goes up, boom, just murders the room. Like, I've never seen him do anything except just light the room on fire. He's been at it for close to 10 years, but man, like that guy can just go up and talk about getting his cup of coffee in the morning and just has you dying.
But Eric Trundy's like that too.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's been doing it for about 10 years too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really good. He's funny. And I think he goes up and he'll just riff, and it's just like he's just off the cuff with really funny stuff. And I guess he knows his premises, and he just goes up there and works them out. And you could see him working those. It's really interesting watching him work. Yeah.
I enjoy seeing once I started writing it and doing open mics, I really fell in love with actually studying comics. Not so much like what they say, but just how they physically present themselves sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like that goes a long way too. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things to study in comedy that I see the same thing in fighting. And there's a lot of neat little details about performance, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool to look into. It's become my favorite little nerd hobby now.
Yeah, the writing's the most enjoyable part for me.
I enjoy the community more than anything.
Well, I enjoy that too.
Yeah, like the social aspect of it. It's just nice to have a group of people you can just go and just talk shit with. Like it's like going to a bar but more constructive.
Right.
Yeah. If you go to a bar and just drink and complain, it's sad. If there's a microphone there, it's kind of constructive depression now. So. Where else have you gone up at, like besides Greensboro?
Well, before I started doing open mics, I wrote some comedy just for writing exercises for acting, and I put it up in front of my acting class, and they liked it. And I did an open mic at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte.
Oh, cool!
Went pretty well.
Yeah.
And then I did 2 or 3 up in New York at I guess it's maybe the Buddha Belly, maybe something like that. Laughing Buddha Comedy Club.
Oh yeah, I have heard people talk about that place. Laughing Buddha.
It was cool. Yeah. It's like in a basement.
Yeah, there's like a million open mic places to go to in New York. It's insane. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. It was pretty good. A good experience. It went okay. And then I did an open mic in New Orleans when I was working on NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, sick!
And I ate shit the whole time. It was horrible.
But it's New Orleans. No one there knows.
Because I was like it was a really late mic, and I didn't go on stage until maybe 1 a.m. And
that's rough.
The whole crowd, they were actually there for a burlesque show that was after the open mic. And they're like, we just want you off the stage
as quickly as possible.
And there was a drunk lady at the bar, and she was like heckling everybody all night. Oh, no. She heckled me, and I was like, well, at least that's funny.
You should have took your shirt off. If they were there for burlesque, you'd have done well. You should have done the whole
intro. Just take your shirt off.
The whole thing. Done the whole thing.
It's the Magic Neil show.
Yeah, man.
You got your tassels
you'd have been a hit. Yeah. You'd have had their attention. I promise.
Well, one of the problems was. Well, actually, it wasn't a problem. It should have been a great thing, but it was like Amy Schumer just randomly showed up at that mic. And it was like this tiny comedy club in the middle of kind of a bad neighborhood. It was just really obscure. And then she shows up randomly.
Wow.
And goes up and does like 20 minutes. And it was awesome. And you'd think that would get, and it did get things going pretty well, but then like they weren't really timing people, so people were going at like 6-7 minutes.
No, yeah.
And it just took forever, and so I should have been on stage at probably like 10:30.
Oh, good Lord!
And I was on stage at like close to 1.
I'd have just left.
Yeah.
If I saw a show being run like that, I would just leave.
I had nothing else to do. So
yeah, fair enough.
That might have affected your performance too.
It probably. I was
sitting
tired.
there anticipating you're tired.
I'd be like it's
And I'd only done 5 open mics before that one.
Oh yeah,
so it was a crazy experience,
But that waiting, it's like being the last person to fight on a fight card. The more you wait, the worse it gets.
More the anxiety builds up. Yeah.
That's awful.
If that ever happened to me, which it won't, but if it did, I would just show up about halfway through. I wouldn't even show up at the arena until like close to the.
Yeah, like the commission makes you get, but like even the commission, like if you're an amateur fighter, man, even if you're the last guy on the fight card, let's say maybe you'll be done fighting. I've been at some fight nights, even in North Carolina, they're like over at like midnight or 1 a.m. and you have to be at the venue at like 5 p.m. Yeah, like you'll weigh in, you have to be back at the venue at like 5 or so to get all your pre-fight medicals and check-ins done, and dude, you're there forever. It's the worst. Like, so hang out at Mike is a breeze now. Show up like, all right, I'm on the list, cool. Just so easy. Yeah. Oh God, 1 a.m. That's awful.
Now, do you guys ever show up like at a mic and you're waiting 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long, right? And what you witness that night changes what you speak about when you get on the stage?
Absolutely. I hate going first. Yeah,
everybody hates going first.
Yeah. If I'm new to a place, I don't mind because I'm new. Like I've done shows in Asheville, Wilmington, Orlando, and I don't mind going up first. Like I'm like, all right, I could light this room on fire, or everyone's gonna hate me. Cool, let's just see how it goes. Don't care. But I definitely like to see how people are reacting to people's presence, or like you'll see some rooms not respect people because of just how they carry themselves on stage.
You kind of get an idea of how the mood is too.
Yeah.
Because if the mood's really low, it's harder.
If you just walk on stage with your chest out and a bit of confidence, then you can actually get the room by just walking on a certain way.
Yeah,
It's not even about like the bits you say. It's about how you can just present yourself.
Unless
to the
it's all
room.
comics.
Yeah, unless it's all comics, they're gonna fucking hate you.
Well, no, I mean, it may just not matter. Like if everybody's just tired and we're all just there to work out, you know.
Oh, but those are some of my favorite mics, like the just comic mics, where it's maybe just like 15 dudes and we're all just sitting in a bar and it's just comics. You can just literally just read your lines off and go, all right, the fuck do you guys think? All right, cool. All right, I'll check this one off, or I'll just tear this page out. And then, but yeah, if there's a show, if I recognize like there's 20 people that aren't comics, I'm like, I'm gonna put myself like number 7 or 8 on the list to see how this room is going to react to some people. I also like to, I'll memorize comics like with certain rooms, and Talia got on me. She was like, why do you memorize certain comics like bits or punchlines? And I'm like, I'm not repeating them. I just know what's coming. And then I'm like, oh, I know that bit. And I look at the room.
See how people react to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, that's a funny line, but what was different in that time? So sometimes like that, it's the presentation.
Right.
Like I've had some dog shit jokes that go over great because I was really enthusiastic, and I'm like, all right, works for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe certain topics that trigger. So you see, like, there's some topic or category for whatever reason, the people in the crowd resonate with that.
Comedy Hell is doing an open mic in a vegan bakery coffee shop in Orlando. Oh man, you want to talk about trigger warnings, dude? Oh
well,
my
if you're not
God.
into that,
You didn't do your
like-
dog
like-
joke, did you?
Yeah, I opened it with that fucking thing. I saw the room. I'm there with when I was I lived in Orlando for 6 months to train some people down there, and I took someone with me to an open mic, and I'm like, dude, you're about to go up at a vegan bakery coffee shop, and I'm like, no idea until I walked in, man, but we're here.
Funny.
And it's like couches and like random chairs. It was so bad. Like people with like purple haircuts like up to here. And I'm like, you're all going to hate me. And I start off the dead dog bit. Oh, dude, it was just, people wanted me out of there. But it felt so good at the same time. Like I'm kind of sick and like, I don't like any of you here. You're all going to want me to leave. I'm okay with that. Like I have some sick satisfaction when like, if I know the audience is just full of jerks, I'm like, all right, I want you guys to hate me. Yeah. I love doing that.
They're going to hate you for what, 3 to 5 minutes, and then
they'll forget about you.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully,
dude.
everybody after you looks that much better because of that.
Yeah. No, like I have some bit like, but
That's true. Yeah.
you can take a bit and you can just change the tone a little bit. Like the room, it can go from like a really good like comedy routine, or it can be like you can make the audience hate you depending on how you present. Like,
Well, the professional
Killing
comics,
puppies.
some of the guys that are, they've been doing it for a long time. They'll talk about how they can go in and sort of immediately fill out the room, and they may have a joke that they'll interchange with another one based on the audience,
Yeah.
which is really good. Like but you have to be.
I've
very
just
experienced
recently kind of picked up on like I have the same like beginning and end, but the middle I have like 2 backups I can do, and it's not great, but it's a good flow.
Well,
I've
that
gotten
night
comfortable with
that you were in Greensboro, that was a new bit I did, that Catholic Church bit.
Yeah.
And I knew it's really offensive, but it's funny.
It's
But it's
funny
funny,
as hell.
but it was funny, yeah.
It's
Like,
funny.
I wasn't sure how people would take it.
You had a fan club that
I'd
night.
actually
You had-
bombed with that before, and I was like, but I rewrote it and changed some stuff, and the changes were, people appreciated them, and it went really well.
It feels good to like notice that your changes.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like you'll write something and you mean something by it, but then it comes off the wrong way, and you're like, oh, what? I didn't mean it that way. I need to add something to it so they know that I'm on the right side of this argument. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not, because if it comes off the wrong way, it can make you look like an asshole, or like just a really bad person.
Yeah.
I've kind of noticed like if the audience thinks that I'm a bigger asshole, I know I'm an asshole, but if the audience just looks at me going, oh, this guy is an asshole, I'll play that card. Like I'll go with it 100%. Like they can,
But
be
you're
like,
not really
oh,
an asshole. You're a cool guy.
I mean,
But you're trying to come across that way.
No, it's like if you see me like talk to people, like you ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've seen it, yeah.
like he he'll kind of say whatever he wants to people, or he like
You're sarcastic.
I'm very much just like,
Doesn't
don't
he
fucking do that. Like, you're an idiot. Like, don't do that.
Doesn't he do
yeah.
like the Trump hats? Like, is that him?
He did that.
Yeah,
Where, like,
yeah.
so people get away from him.
Yeah, so they would stay away. Like, so like he runs this biker off the road, right? And the biker's like up next to him, like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, pull over. And he reaches in the passenger seat. He puts his Trump hat on. He rolls his window down. He's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, it's okay, man. He's
all
like,
right, dude.
Just drive safe, man. Drive safe. Have a good day.
He goes to a restaurant and he sees some people coming up. It's a couple, and they come up and he goes. He puts his Trump hat on. They go, can we sit somewhere else? And he's like, yes.
There's meetings he didn't want to have. He throws his Trump hat on.
I'm an asshole in the sense that like I'll just kind of open my mouth whenever I want to. Like if I see someone, like I do dumb shit all the time. And the best thing people have done is just call me out on it when I do. Like if I see someone doing something dumb or they say, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, and I mean it like, because I care.
It's a term of endearment.
It is kind of like a term of endearment,
Yeah,
like just being a coach and stuff like that, and growing up in like locker rooms. Like, it's,
with men,
To people that don't know me or haven't played sports or don't get me, then
Maybe
I'm definitely,
offensive.
I'm definitely an asshole if you don't know me. If you know me, like, it's Trevor. But
Well, Parker and all the guys, like some of the guys you hang out with, if they're not going to take that offensively, they're going to respect. They're going to respect you for that.
And those are the people I grew up with.
Exactly.
There's
like
fighters and people like that.
Yeah, like, we do that with all
one
the
of the
guys.
most like hardcore people I could riff with anything was my old boxing coach, Bonnie Mann. She was world boxing champ, like 180 pounds, former Marine, biggest dyke you'd ever meet, and she was proud to call herself that. Like, oh my god! And she would take me to the strip club and teach me how to pick up women. Like
That's awesome.
And those are like the people I grew up with. It's like now like branching out to like other people. I'm like, oh man, like people don't take feedback well.
No, man. They're so censored. They're so they're like in their box, and they surround themselves with people that are just like
echo
them.
chambers.
Yeah, man.
Echo
And
chambers.
it just gets really bad. And I like all types of people, man. Like,
I do too, man.
I'm good. I can appreciate a lot of things about a lot of different people, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But echo chamber's a bad thing.
Echo
Yeah,
chambers.
because
Even for our opinions, right?
There's no novelty. You can't
Yeah.
get new ideas or.
I like people to correct me.
100%.
Like because I'm gonna get better at something. Like
or hear both sides of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even if I don't agree with you, I want to hear what you have to say.
Actually, I would rather learn an opinion that's different than mine, just so I can better be prepared to argue my side. You're right. You got to know the other point.
Yeah.
But also, I'm open minded. Like
I usually stop listening to someone if they say there's only one way to do something. Like or it's like you got to do this my way or no way. Then I'm like, I'll do it your way, but like I have to do it my way, even though it's your way. And people get so hell bent if you try it. I'm like, no, man. Like I can't.
I think you got to be open minded and consider other people's. Like,
Oh,
not just
absolutely.
consider, but like I'm considering, all right, does this make sense? Like I'm literally, and from an intelligent point of view, what you're saying, does it make sense to me?
Yeah.
Does it resonate with me? Like, and maybe you can change my mind about something. Maybe I'm thinking about something from the wrong angle. Like, oh, people say, oh, money's evil. I say, well, money's a tool.
Yeah.
Right? That's like saying my pen is evil.
And everything's so complex too.
It
There's
is, man.
nothing simple about human society or life or anything. It's all very complex.
Dude, I tell people, normal people scare the shit out of me.
Oh, people are scary.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, oh my god, I love my tribe of just wild fighters and comedians
I
and
don't know
stuff
any
like that,
normal
man.
people.
Dude, I meet some people. I'm like, wait, you just wake up and you sit in a cubicle, then you go home and eat a TV dinner. And I'm like, you exist? Like, what the fuck are you, man? Are
Bro,
you an alien?
It's work.
You're not happy.
No, you're not.
No,
It's
and like
work,
those people,
family, die. That's what they do.
Dude, yeah, man.
In my mind.
And you see these people.
We're
like,
all animals, so like
Yeah.
we shouldn't be caged up all
No.
day.
dude, yeah. These next couple of weeks are gonna be rough.
Oh.
I'm gonna go full taxi driver haircut, like just wear my aviators inside, like spy on the neighbors, like just it's gonna be rough, man.
We've been staying busy. We just
Good.
keep working, man. We just keep
Good, man.
grinding. You know, follow the social distancing, keep everybody safe. Do what you got to
Yeah.
do. But at the same point, I mean, we've got companies that are essential companies, right?
That's great, yeah.
Shipping and other things. I mean, we're providing service, so we're doing all the things that we can do, and trying to protect everybody. But I've got to do stuff. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I have
not-
to tell you, like my girlfriend, she saw me file for unemployment, like, and a lot of people are having to do it, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Not at all." The fact
That's
that
crazy.
I
Yeah.
have to fill this out because like this is, I am not worried about like I should be more worried about what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm more worried about the fact that I have no work to do right now.
Right.
And like me as a person, like a good day is 16 hours of work. Like lately, since I've moved back from Orlando, like I've been a little slow just getting stuff rolling, like getting in the routine of being on the road again. And then this hits, and I'm like, I'm about to lose my mind. Because to me, I love having a 6 or 7 a.m. client. I love having clients like every hour. I love having classes. Like I love to stay busy because I love what I do. Yeah. So for people like me, the hardest part is like, I mean, I don't have debt. Like I've lived in my means my whole life, so I'm not stressed about money like some people are, even though like I don't have anything in the first place, so I'm okay with it.
That's great.
Like I'm just like building it back up, like whatever.
Right.
But what bugs me out is not being able to do stuff, man.
Yeah.
And like I can't the Tiger King was great, but like that was only 6 hours to kill time, man, on Netflix. Like now I want to go do drugs and shoot guns. Like this isn't good, man. Like I can't be locked inside for 3 weeks watching Netflix, dude. My brain's gonna get turned into soup.
It's gonna be mush, man.
Dude, it's gonna
I'm
be
glad
so
you said
bad.
16 hours, by the way, because most people work their 8. And
I hate that.
They're tired. Like I hear it all the time. Like, oh, well, I put in 8 hours. Oh, a long day at work. I'm sitting here going, what'd you do during your second 8-hour shift? Like, come on now. Like, what is 8 hours? Like this is the path to mediocrity. A lot of my friends thought I was
insane in my 20s because like they're all like I remember I was in technical college, whatever.
Yes,
I was in a physics class and I went, what the fuck am I doing in here? I emptied out my backpack and I walked in a recruiter's office. And that was a good decision. Like not like the military didn't teach me any structure. I was like, I'm in better shape and better structure than all you assholes. Like what's going on here? But it did let me know. It's like, man, I need to do martial arts. Like when I'm done with the military, martial arts will be my full-time job eventually.
Right.
And as soon as I got out of the military at like 21 years old, 22, like I was like, boom. Applied at a boxing gym down the street. I already knew people there just to pick up classes, do a bit of desk work. But I was also on top of running the desk, doing privates, teaching classes. Like that right there, I'm opening up the gym like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I'm out of bed at 5 a.m. And then every night of the week, I'm bouncing between like 4 different bars just to stay afloat because I'm like, I have to put this time in to be, if I want to do this full time down the road, I have to put my time in. So
100%.
I've always had that work more to do more kind of mentality for stuff. So like this is driving me insane right now. Yeah. Oh man.
I've got a shirt that says rent's due.
Yeah.
Right. And I wear that shirt, and I was going to wear it today, actually, and my wife pointed out that it had a hole right here, and these 4K cameras will pick up on that pretty easily. So since my wife likes to dress me occasionally, I wasn't allowed.
They see my new skin routine.
Yeah, I wasn't able to wear it today. But the reason I like wearing that shirt is people in general, man, they don't show up until rent's due. Mm-hmm. Like all of a sudden, when the bills come, not just rent, when everything, when the shit hits the fan, that's when they've decided in a very small window that they're going to change their life, right? Mm-hmm. And the moment that problem is solved, that temporary crisis is solved, they're on to something fucking else. Their willpower and their work ethic and all those things, the promises they made me and themselves disappear, and they're back to their normal life, right? So they only show up when it's time to do that. But you're showing up over and over and over and over, and you said, hey, every success is 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
Sam Walton says, hey, every overnight success 20 years in the making. Mm-hmm. The reality is, you've got to fucking show up all the time. Like when everybody else is taking a break, you got to be working. You got to be working your craft.
And the 10 years is just becoming a good fighter. Like being good in business, like that's a 20-year plan.
Yeah, man.
And people see even less of that.
Oh, 100%.
So many people see like a 4-year window or less because of college or school and shit. And I'm like, man, getting a college degree ruins people because they feel like they're good at something after 4 years. I'm like, you're just fucking learning at that point.
You're cracking out of the egg at that point.
Yeah, let's say
you're barely cracking out of the egg, man. That's it. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah,
I forgot
100%.
you were there. No offense. You scared the shit out of me.
He's sneaky.
Cracked out of the egg. Man.
Yeah.
Why is there a chicken over here? What the hell? But man. And people forget, like if you love what you do and you put the time in, it hurts when there's no, like, people just want that initial feedback of money because they see that as success. Yeah. I mean, like money is great, but like if you believe in what you do, you put the time in, you eat your ramen noodles, you're gonna make your commas, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm really happy in my life. Like, oh, I've got a comma in my bank account. Hell yeah. And then I've got times like right now where I'm like, it's rough, but it doesn't mean you stop. Yeah. And if you have good work ethic, then you have other outlets of making money. It's like, all right, cool. I got the head of security gig at a big bar. I'm like, cool. I have my other income, like while I'm still coaching and training full time and putting shows together and stuff.
Man,
you people make stopping a habit.
No, you're right.
You cannot make stopping a habit. When I had my left arm detached from my body, I learned how to be southpaw. Like like I still had a broken collarbone. It's like shattered. My pec is detached. My trap is detached.
happened?
Bike accident. Not even
motorcycle?
a cool
Motorcycle or
motorcycle. Nope,
bicycle?
nope. I was testing out the brakes on a mountain bike in a parking lot.
Oh my goodness!
Boom!
Oh,
Like they locked up, face
Wait,
plant.
Wait,
Yeah.
testing out, or you were trying to do a
No,
stoppie?
just like the brakes were brand new, and I'm literally just trying to tap them, and they locked up. I'm just kind of coasting. Boom! Whack! And I was like, oh shit! And graceful as a cat, hit the ground, rolled, blood everywhere, and I went, all right, something's wrong. We gotta go. And shattered my collarbone, separated my my pec and my trap muscles.
Slammed you hard.
Dude, just right over, smashed it,
Yeah.
and like my arm's in a sling. I had to wait a couple weeks until I got surgery for it. So I was at the gym like 2 days later on like Oxy or something like that, and I'm just standing southpaw in the boxing ring, just jabbing because I couldn't use my left arm to jab. But I could have just stopped.
What was your recovery?
A couple of years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well,
But,
you've given me a lot of motivation to ride my bike at home, just so you know.
You should, just ride it right in that living room, man.
Yeah.
Just fuck it all. Ride it wherever you want to, upstairs, downstairs, whatever, man.
I remember the first time I realized a bike could do that. I was probably like maybe 10 or 12.
Just completely make you
The
eat
same-
shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could get slammed with your bike. And I grabbed the front brake really hard. It
I remember like time
oh.
slowed down because
was a bad decision.
I remember like looking right at the pavement and I was like, this would be so much cooler if I had a helmet on. I was like, oh, this is about to suck so bad.
I didn't get hurt that bad though.
You
Yeah.
ever done on a jet ski? Yeah, check this out. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be cool. I live on Lake Norman in Mooresville, right? So I'm on a jet ski.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull up on an island like I see in the movies, right? You know, just kind of cruise in fast, man, slide up on the sand. You know, like it here's the kicker. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work
You
at
hit
all.
it, you fucking stop, man.
fly,
You flip
yeah.
off. And I don't know how I didn't bust my face on the front of that jet ski. I have no clue. But let me tell you what I will never do again. Like I'm creeping now. I'm
You will
like
never
creeping.
watch Miami Vice
Bro,
and then
it's
hit your
not
jet ski
happening,
again.
bro. I'm like creeping up to the edge. I'm like, because I'm thinking, oh, the water level's down, man. I'm gonna hit it about 15 feet out. I'm thinking I'm already gonna hit the ground. I'm like edging in there, man. I'll walk it in.
Yeah, I've never done that. I've had a bit more common sense than that.
Oh
because
man, I fucked it up.
ground is hard.
Yeah, man, it
but,
hurt.
But water, man, you ever rip a jet ski sideways?
Yeah.
No, that's
Trying to do
best.
the donut or whatever.
No,
man, in the
just
water.
throwing yourself off. It
Yeah,
for fun.
I've done that.
I'd do that.
I
like-
didn't do that, but yeah.
Oh man, my
not for
buddies.
fun.
Oh no, like we'll
Not
be
for
like,
fun, yeah.
like we'll take the jet ski like full throttle and then just rip it as hard as you can, no leg to see how
No.
far you can go, man. We'll get like 10 or 15 feet in the
gonna
air.
break your arm.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, it was so bad.
I was on a
My buddy was the son of a pastor. He was like, "Hey, let's go do this," and I went, "Of course you would."
Yeah,
Psycho.
why not?
Now he's a Navy SEAL. Go
Yeah, well,
figure.
there you go.
Yeah.
back when I was like 22, maybe 21. Those are my buddies. He had remember the 1200 Yamahas?
Yeah.
They're really fast two-stroke wave runners. Yeah, we were going like 50 miles an hour on the lake. It was like smooth, and all of a sudden it was choppy, and it was just, and I was on my back.
It happened so fast.
Yeah, man. You don't even have
Skip
time to
across
Oh,
the
you were
water.
skipping on your back.
And I was like, I mean, at least 60 to 100 feet away from the wave runner when I stopped. Yeah, I didn't get hurt. I hurt my arm a little bit because I hit it on the side of the boat or the side of the wave runner when I came off. It was just bruised it, But it was insane. It was like so quick. I was like, what happened? How did
You thought something weird happened, man. Shane
Yeah.
Owens, I don't know if you remember him or not, but Shane Owens, a buddy of mine, we went, him and we went took like a family trip, a cruise, and so we decided to rent jet skis, I think in the Bahamas, right? And I don't think Shane was the best swimmer back then. So we're out in the ocean, we're on jet skis, we're jumping, we're doing all this crazy shit. And we were trying to do like the 360s, the donuts in the water. And Shane ate it, man, just ate it and pop, 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 pop. And like he's in the water, vest on, but doesn't swim very well. And he's just like, at the time. Well, in my memory from recall, it's been about a decade. I don't think he swam very well. And I'm like, I'm not getting in the water, man. Me and sharks do not get along, bro. And I'm like a hefty meal for them. So I'm not doing it. So I'm like trying to get in. I end up falling in, trying to help him get in. And then my big ass couldn't get back on my jet ski. Right, so now I'm like in the water trying to pull up on the damn back of it, trying to get in. I'm like,
Blind leading the blind.
man, this is terrible. I'm like, I'm stuck in the ocean, and like we're not, like smart people. We should have stayed close to the shore. We're like off visiting some island somewhere. Yeah,
No. So you're looking around like, oh, help is nowhere
yeah,
near.
man, I'm done. The sharks are gonna get me. I eventually got up on that thing, but it was not good, man. I drove it like an 80-year-old from there back. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting in the water again.
Dude, my dad was he broke his back surfing. and it crashed on his back, and it broke his back between his shoulder. He couldn't walk. Like, he was paralyzed in the ocean.
Oh man.
He hung onto his board for almost an entire day or something like that. Before they fished him out of the water. Like, someone just kind of saw him like starting to float in a little bit. He had like sun poisoning and like everything like that. It was gnarly. And I'm like, so they became a professional kayaker. There's people like us. We're like, nah, forget the water. I'm done. Then there's people like my dad. And he's like, nah, it hasn't killed me yet.
Yeah. Dude, kayaks scare me. The ones that you get in, I can't. If you flip over, you got to like do the thing with a kayak.
Flip back around.
Oh yeah,
flip back around.
My dad used to train me for kayaking races, and he would take me out to Lake Crabtree and do like morning sprints in a kayak. So he'd make me sprint, roll over, sprint, roll over, sprint.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the worst, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of core work.
That's like being in an airplane and having to force turn off the engine to me, and like you're turning it off and just free falling. Like that's the equivalent of that for me.
I've had some friends that are like pilots take me up and do that. I'm like, let's not do that.
Yeah,
again.
man, don't do that shit to me.
Yeah.
One of our partners is a pilot, and just recently he's been doing it. I don't know. He's been passionate about it. I'd say for like the last 6 months to a year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, bro. I know. Don't fucking do that to me.
Don't do it. Yeah, it's not cool.
I'm like, we've been friends. We've been best friends since I was like 11. I'll punch you. Like, I'll fuck you up, man.
It is not. It is cool for them, not the passenger.
Yeah, man. Don't do it. And Nick, he was with U.S. Airways, and then he was at Embry-Riddle in Daytona. Nick Higgins, and he went to school there, and then he's been a professional pilot for at least a decade. And I can't remember which airline he's with now, but he took me up one time, and he was like, "Oh, you want to flip it?" I'm like, "No, do not do it. Do not do it." He's doing very light things. I'm sure in his mind it was just regular flying. Mm-hmm. I was like the whole time, bro, I was sweating. I was like, "Oh shit, oh shit." I stepped on the wing of the plane. The back of the plane hit the ground. Right, like I'm a big guy. Right, I can't fly. And I figured out you can't fly in little planes. Right, so I'm nervous. We went to this place to get this $100 burger. They call it a $100 burger because literally by the time you pay for fuel and the $5 for the burger, you spend $100 to go get it, right? And it's at like an airfield.
Wait, was it a little airfield like in Virginia?
Yeah, I think
I've
so.
been there. That's fun out.
See?
I like the $100 burger. I was like, oh, I know. Yeah, my buddy's dad owns a hangar out at the airport, so he has his own like private flying. I don't know, whatever. He flies people to islands and they do whatever there. Yeah. I don't know. No, like he was talking about, it's like this little airfield, middle of nowhere.
In the
like,
trees?
It just, middle of nowhere, a little landing strip.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, no fucking way.
Bro, so imagine.
I walked in, got the burger and Coke, and I was like, this is the best meal ever.
Dude, so we're taking off, and you're taking off into the trees, right? Like the runway's coming to an end, and there's trees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, man, how are we on weight? And he's like, oh, we were good. I planned for it. That's why I didn't get fuel here. Because we would be lighter without the fuel, so we needed to be able to take off a little faster. So I planned your weight into the trip, so that's why I didn't fuel up here. And I'm like, oh, it's really smart. But let me tell you, those trees, it looked like we were about to.
They come up on you so
fast, man.
I was so cool about the flying until the landing, and I am looking at my friend, and I am just starting to go like, crazy.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Where's the black box? I'm like losing my mind when those trees came at me, dude. They come at you so quick. But then that plane will just stop on a dime all of a sudden.
He's like, we're hitting turbulence. He's like, no. He said something like, no plane is ever wrecked from turbulence alone. I'm sitting here going, that's fucking bullshit. I didn't believe it. It may be true, but at that moment I was like, you can tell me lies all you want.
I've seen snakes on a plane. You can't tell me shit.
Yeah, exactly. I even asked him. I was so paranoid. I was like, "Hey, man, do I need to turn my phone off?" Because I was like, I did not want to fuck this shit up.
Dude, having friends with fun toys is scary,
man. Because they're confident.
I can't trust myself. Like I tell people, like I enjoy making money, but I have to limit myself because I'll do some really dumb stuff with expensive toys, man. Man.
I want to be. If I fly with someone, I want it to be someone that just does that.
Yeah.
Like that's their thing.
Well, it's got to be their passion. Like the way you're passionate about comedy and fighting, I would say even more so with him fighting, because that's been since you were, what, you said 6? You've been wrestling, fighting, passionate about it.
I mean, just into martial arts my whole, and it's not just fighting, it's just the lifestyle of martial arts and combat sports.
So, so that you want somebody that's like that, but about aviation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want my friend Nick Higgins. Like, I'm serious, man. You're like... and I met him through my girlfriend at the time, but it's my wife now. But she was her best friend, and she was friends with him. But he was dating her, so that's how I met him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah,
and he's a pilot, lifelong pilot. You'd love him.
I'd fly with that dude. Yeah,
yeah, man, he's good.
Sure.
That sounds like the right flying experience.
Oh, and I think his brother's a pilot. Maybe I know his father was a pilot in. I don't remember if he's in the Navy or Air Force, but his dad was a pilot, and then his dad went to FedEx to fly as well afterwards.
Yeah, there's a
like,
difference between that and your buddy that has his license for
bro.
a
Yeah.
year.
It's in his DNA. It's like, so I feel really safe, but in theory, until I'm in the plane, I'm like, oh shit.
My friend Joey's a good pilot. He's had thousands of hours.
Mataloni?
Yeah, Joey Mataloni.
Mataloni, yeah.
He's a good pilot. He's a good ship captain.
Doesn't he own Mataloni Cellars or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. A vineyard or wine.
Yeah, I used to be a partner there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
My shares.
Hey, you were talking about like as a kid growing up surrounded by martial arts, totally into I guess all the culture. I grew up watching like black belt theater as a kid. Loved it. All the Shaw Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
Gordon Luke, all that stuff.
I'm not
like
that
I
classy.
I just
I
ate
watched
all that stuff because it was what was on the TV. It was
I
all
would
could
watch. I would watch like Mark Dacascos and
yeah.
and who was
Crying Freeman. You know.
Damn, like I'm trying to think of like all the really bad like kickbox
there's like American Ninja,
like American Ninja, yeah, or you have like these great kickboxers that became horrible actors in the 80s, early.
Oh, I love that shit,
man. Like I'm trying to think of some of the names. I'm just drawing such a huge blank, but I'll watch I grew up watching those. I'm like, oh, I want to be a kickboxer and a race car driver and a professional shooter. I'm like, the best brothers, like that's some cool stuff. I'm like, but these dudes are throwing kicks, shooting guns, and nailing chicks.
Right.
Like I'll go run up walls when I'm on acid. Like I'm gonna do this. No, like I liked like Jet Li and Jackie Chan as a kid.
Best of the Best. Did you watch that stuff?
Yes, Best of the Best 3 when he fights like the KKK. Have you seen that one? Who's the guy from Best of the Best?
Jeez.
Don
Chris
Wilson.
Penn's the other guy.
No, Don Wilson.
Yeah.
So Don Wilson starred. Eric Roberts was in
That's
Best of the Best.
yeah.
Eric Roberts. So Best of the Best is great. The sequels, so much better.
Right.
They
I
go
love the
so
first
downhill.
one, but yeah.
Oh, and the third one, they're fighting the KKK in a small town.
Right.
I don't know how it gets there, but yeah. But no, Don Wilson. That's what I was drawing a blank on. Don Wilson made some of the best, worst action movies.
Right.
Phenomenal kickboxing fighter, but man, I grew up watching his movies.
Yeah.
Like, and that was because it was like gritty and real. Like, there's fucking people
I watched
up.
all of it.
And it's all kinds of like underground crime where I'm like, Shaw Brothers, cool, sword fighting.
Yeah. Some are better.
Yeah.
Favorite from Best of the Best. I don't know why I had to look it up because I could not remember his name. But Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
And Philip Bree. Those were like the two go-tos, right? And then Chris Penn.
Yeah,
Chris Penn was in the sequel and he got like murdered, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And man, they made it. And then you said Simone Ree. Wasn't he Simon Ree? Wasn't he was in number 1? I think he was the villain, painted as the villain. And then like in a second or third one, he actually was an ally.
Yeah. I think it was the second one. Yeah,
that was my shit, man. I don't know why, but the family I grew up in, like the 80s, like I feel like now they're like cult classics, but that shit was awesome.
So good.
Yeah,
man.
I don't even remember those movies.
Oh man,
I don't remember.
Dude,
those.
I used to
I
scour
remember like
through,
Bloodsport and
Bloodsport was great. Yeah,
The Quest with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I tell people
Yeah.
I love Jean-Claude Van Damme because of karate and cocaine. That's a great way to look at life.
What was the one where he's got a twin brother?
Double Impact.
Double Impact, man. That was awesome.
Dude, I was just watching the one with the basketball player. He's with who? He was on the Bulls. Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
He was in a movie with Dennis Rodman so bad, and Mickey Rourke is the bad guy. It is so. I'm going. I can't believe this got made. I can't believe
man.
I remember watching it as a teenager, and I was like, "This is the greatest fucking movie ever." And as an adult, I'm just going, Jesus Christ, how did I like this?
Was Dennis Rodman the bad guy in that Stallone movie too? What was that?
Was he? I don't think he's only done the one movie.
No, you're
No, who was
talking
that?
about
Was it
you're
Wesley
talking about
Snipes?
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley,
Snipes,
Yeah. No, he was a good guy in the Expendables.
No, way back in the 80s. What was that movie? Judge Dredd or something? No, it was.
It was Judge Dredd. He was in
No,
Judge
it wasn't.
Dredd.
It wasn't Judge Dredd. It was Stallone. I know the premise. Stallone in his own
He's in
time
the
was
future.
rough. He goes to sleep and they bring him back. It's got
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
That's
That
one of
was
the greatest
it.
movies ever. Yeah.
Demolition
I still
Man.
consider Taco Bell fine dining. The future is real, motherfuckers. We got Taco Bell cantinas everywhere now, man. Demolition Man was onto something.
Yeah, man. They were, man. That shit was awesome. So the Jean-Claude Van Damme, like I got this double impact, right?
Yeah.
The one twin is like soft spoken and gentle, and
I studied
I
ballet.
think he's doing like ballet.
Yes,
and
yes, he's
yoga.
a dance instructor.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a women's bathing suit, teaching dance class in the beginning.
Yeah,
You're like,
man.
what the fuck?
And then the other one's like basically calling him a bitch. And he's, it was good shit, man.
That was so good. Oh my god, yeah, dude. Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I was in love with those as a kid. They were so over the top.
Oh, they were awesome.
But it was. I was like, that's like just how I am as a person. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of martial arts I like. It's like, yeah, if you don't have a gun, karate.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see martial. Like, realistically, martial arts is like if you don't have a weapon,
That's right.
you're the weapon.
You're the weapon,
But like,
yeah.
yeah. And then like, Chinese cinema is great, but that's all based around like Jackie Chan. He went to school for like performing arts technically,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a martial arts performing arts, so he
Right.
never actually competed. It's all for show,
Right.
Right.
And that's why they do that. Then you got guys like even like Jet Li.
It's
Oh,
impressive
yeah.
as
Yeah.
hell, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's impressive to see what they do. But
It's
like you see
insane.
that like in America, it's like, nah, man, we just fight.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you see it carry over in the cinema, and that's
Oh, yeah.
For
I love
sure.
noticing little things like that in martial arts and how people like keep track of it like culturally. Mainly like the U.S. and Asia. No one else makes their own martial arts flicks like we do.
You know,
There's a lot happening now in Nollywood and Bollywood.
Okay, Bollywood
Oh, yeah.
is
They're huge.
crushing it. They
Yeah.
are doing whatever they want.
That's right.
Like you see how China will look at stuff, they smoke a cigarette and just go, "I make that better." Like then you've got Bollywood and they're like, "We're gonna copy the whole movie, just throw a dance scene in. We got this.
Yep.
Let's do it, dude." Bollywood does not give a fuck, dude. They have some gems coming out.
yeah. What about was it Unbok or something like that? Have you seen?
Oh,
any of those?
Onbak, yeah, that was
yeah.
great, yeah.
That's
so I remember sitting in the theater going, "Motherfuckers, this isn't actually Muay Thai." Like it's there is a lot of it, like
There
but
is, yeah,
there
some,
there
yeah.
is, but like he's doing like the wrist breaking, and I'm like, no, man, like
Yeah.
no, like it was
No.
cool, but
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about belts earlier for Muay Thai, and I was sitting here going, maybe we count notches and shins. That'd
Yeah,
be a
dude,
good way to
oh,
get the
yeah.
belt.
Yeah.
I used to have to roll those damn things out, man.
Yeah,
with
people
a
look at my
bread roller.
shin still, and like I
Yeah.
have a giant kapow tattoo on my right shin, and people go, "Do you feel that?" And I'm like, "Nah," like didn't feel it at all.
Yeah.
And below that is all just like scar tissue on
Yeah,
my shins.
man.
Like people see it and go, "What's up with your shins?" And I'm like, "Childhood trauma." I
Do you have
don't
to
know.
kick
Yeah.
car bumpers and stuff like that?
I used to kick a lot of tires.
Right.
I used to put on like a cloth shin guard. I'd go in the backyard and like kick my tree and stuff. And
Ugh.
people thought I was insane, but I was like, I don't care. Like
It works.
Man, mine are predominantly
Good
just
bone
from
thick.
training.
Dude, I've got stupid shins. Like just to freak people out. If I see like a metal beam, I'll walk up and just start dinging it, and people go, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Ah, no, just party trick." Yeah.
Makes me
Yeah.
cringe.
I haven't.
You know
done
who
it in a long
Josh
time.
Koscheck is? Fought in the
Koscheck,
UFC. He
Koscheck.
fought
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
title
yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was his last Muay Thai coach, and
Oh, wow.
he lives in Raleigh now.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the best compliments I ever got is when like the best thing I heard is like, "Hey man, can you stop kicking me in the leg? That hurts." And I just went, "Oh my God, Josh Koscheck said that." And I was like, all right.
He was
I got
on
hard
the
leg kick.
Ultimate Fighter, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
first season, man.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I remember that,
He's
yeah.
honestly one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
That's awesome.
He's like, man, on that TV show Persona wise, he's like, I was always in like that fight mindset, and he's like, he's like, I'm an asshole, but it's like that scenario. It's like, yeah, you got to be an asshole to like stay ahead in that house, and like even like in the fight game and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
he's like, but it also, he's like, hey man, like my persona also got me 2 title shots.
That's
he's
right.
like, dude, through fighting, man, what he's done, like all the stuff he has his hands in and everything, man, I'm so happy for him. Like seeing fighters like grow out of like martial arts successfully and
Yeah,
have
just fighting.
businesses, man, it's great. Yeah.
No, it is.
What's he doing now?
He runs Czech defense, so he has a lot of government contracts where he goes in and he trains soldiers in hand-to-hand combat and room
that's
clearing
cool.
drills,
Wow.
and he works with a lot of law enforcement and stuff like that too. Marcus Davis, the Irish hand grenade, he lives in fucking Clayton, owns a
Really?
gym in Raleigh.
Wow.
He does the same thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, like that's the great thing about martial arts is that you do learn, like you interact with a lot of military people and cops, and I've done the same thing, and like some of these guys get gigs becoming like private contractors, like teaching people how to just fuck up other people close quarters. I mean,
Awesome.
learn how to be the weapon when you don't have one.
Well,
Yeah.
at the same time, if law enforcement were better trained in martial arts, there would be a lot less accidents too.
Oh
No,
yeah,
that's right.
man.
'Cause they can control the situation better.
Oh yeah, like I've
Yeah.
got some friends. Actually, my one friend Isabella. She's itty bitty Latin girl. Maybe like I don't know what she weighs. I'm not gonna guess. She'll fuck me up. Itty bitty. Dude, she will grab a hold of a dude. Like she can. No offense, Neil, but like she could grab a hold of like a dude your size and like control a situation pretty well. Like, will she still get fucked up a bit? Yeah, but for being how small she is, like how well trained she is in striking and grappling, wrestling, always training with men, like she can easily take on like a grown
Choke
man
somebody
and
out.
like
Wow.
and like hold her own and stuff like that. Like it would, like she'll get fucking hit like everybody does, but like if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
hit back, but like to control, I mean it's amazing what a little bit of training does. Actually,
yeah.
at Knuckle Up, we offer free training for police.
Awesome.
I've
that's
worked
cool.
with guys like in the RPD when I had some friends go through. I saw you looking at coffee. It's all the way over there. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
But I saw you looking at coffee.
Thought he was.
It's all right.
Thought he
I'm a
was.
stoner, so you know.
Yeah, yeah. I thought he was choking on his drink over there. I was like, "Are you all right, buddy? You need some mouth to mouth." You know, you were talking about though training police and stuff.
Yeah, it's really rewarding to know when like a cop gives you feedback saying, "Man, that bit of clinch work you taught me, like that made the situation so much easier." Like I had a phone call from a guy. He was like, "Man, this dude just ran right at me. I stepped back, frame, knee, step off, knee, hit him in the stomach twice, and the dude was like, "Oh shit!" And he even said it. He was like, professionally, the guy said, "Oh shit!" and just like fell down and stopped moving. I went, "Oh, this is really easy," but like it's, like basic, regular training for law enforcement, man. It's a shame how easy it is. Like with how popular martial arts is, it's a shame all the access that law enforcement has to it, but they just don't encourage it or enforce it.
Yeah. That's changing though, right? No.
I don't know.
Dude, definitely not in Raleigh.
enough.
Like the lady running the show in Raleigh, like no one likes her. Like that's just like she's just a moron. Like she doesn't believe in even cops like staying in shape. Like she's dropped a bunch of like standards and stuff like that from what I've heard. So yeah, I mean a lot of like bigger places like California where people have more eyes on like Raleigh, like who the fuck has their eyes on RPD? Like
Yeah.
you know, like we haven't had any like Rodney
Raleigh's
King
a pretty
situations.
safe city too.
Yeah.
though.
It's very safe. So it's like places like New York and LA, you're gonna find a lot more like cops out there, but also martial arts in those
A lot
areas
more
like
really
jiu-jitsu.
dangerous people too.
A lot more dangerous people as well. Yeah.
Well, I think the martial arts and I think cops carry a certain level of confidence anyway. They have to be in that
You
position.
have to.
But martial
You ever
arts
seen a
training,
Marine get into a bar fight? They actually
Oh.
don't know how to fight. But they have enough confidence to fight 10 people at once
No,
still.
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's true. And like cops have to have that.
No, they do.
You have to instill that
It'll cause less
confidence.
problems though, that confidence, because like when I first I wanted to learn how to fight, I remember when I was younger, I was like,
people recognize fear. Like
That's
if
right.
a criminal does not, if someone is out doing harm or doing something wrong, they're in charge of that situation. And if they see a cop is nervous or afraid, that cop is going to have a really bad
You're
time.
exactly
My friends
right.
that know how to fight can just walk up and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And that guy
Exactly.
can turn and go, "Nothing anymore."
Exactly.
Like I have a good friend of mine, Jeff Loken. He is such a great cop because of his time as a martial artist. He's like, "Dude, nothing phases me." He's
Yeah.
like, the fact that I have a gun, like I don't even really. Yeah, he's had to draw it on people, I think maybe, but like everything else he does, he just grabs a hold of people. But he's also confident walking up, and the way he can
That's right.
physically assert himself, just like it changes the situation right away.
Yeah.
Like it's
So I think law enforcement officers should all train in jiu-jitsu too.
yeah,
I think they absolutely
Extremely
should.
helpful.
Yeah, 100%.
Judo and jiu-jitsu, man. Like
Yeah,
there's
judo and jiu-jitsu. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
God, I love judo.
yeah.
No, it's a shame that law enforcement don't have like in every station they should have a mat room and have guys mandatory train at least like twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll work with cops on like, you know, hey, yeah, put your little bat utility belt on and I'm gonna take your stuff away, and they go, you can't do that, and I'm like, I'm really high, so just watch out. And like, I mean, in theory, but no, I'm not on
Hypothetically.
PCP. I am not on PCP right now, guys, but I'm gonna act like I am, and no, and like you just. Like when cops find out how easy it is to actually get like manhandled by someone half their size, like it's really eye opening. So I really feel like, you know, each major city should have like mandatory like training rooms, like a little mat room.
Yeah.
Go in there, have gis, have uniforms, have like one day a week in a gi, one day a week like no gi with like your little bat utility belt on and stuff like that. And it's amazing what happened in like situations of conflict.
Now, do you only do Muay Thai, or do you do other types of?
Dude, I've done
martial arts too.
A lot. So primarily kickboxing and boxing. I did wrestle from 9 years old up through high school, and then that kind of helped me get into MMA as well. I started judo in high school.
Oh, okay.
I've done a little bit before getting into kickboxing. I was doing like karate and taekwondo, and those schools will get you into like the Eskrima and
Good
college.
kicking and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like I'll say this, like the flashiness and explode, like the randomness of taekwondo is effective.
Yeah.
But like, if you just have a black belt in Taekwondo, you're gonna get your ass beat in a street fight still. Like, sorry, that's how it is. But like, I know some guys that are doing Taekwondo for 10 years and they box for 10 years as well, and those motherfuckers are dangerous. Like, those guys are like, oh man, that's scary. But no, like I've gotten to dabble with a lot of Eskrima, Kali, like stick fighting, knife fighting, Krav Maga and stuff like that. What's that?
Jeet Kune Do?
I haven't done any Jeet Kune Do or like Kung Fu.
But it uses a lot of the
like
stuff.
it's Jeet Kune Do. I've met some Jeet Kune Do practitioners that do MMA because they're like, MMA is just modern Jeet Kune Do when you look at it, and I mean,
same ideology.
It's the ideology of it. Yeah, exactly.
It's practical.
Yeah, and so you see a lot of Jeet Kune Do guys like got into MMA early on. So I've interacted with Jeet Kune Do guys, and so we take a lot of like the philosophy of like, you know, sometimes like that fencing type striking is good to use. Never did any like Wing Chun or
Krav Maga is sort of like that too, right? It's all about practicality.
It is, and so I tell people, unless you're doing Krav Maga, like without like a helmet on, a vest, a couple knives on you, a handgun, and a weapon, you're not doing Krav Maga.
Because it's just about
like it is literally Krav Maga is literally about how to clear a room and kill someone with an empty weapon. Like, that's what it is. If you're not doing Krav Maga with like weapons on you, you're not doing like eye poking is not Krav Maga. I'm sorry, it's not. Like, I mean, a kick to the dick is, but like, cool. I mean, but like everything, you see a lot of Krav Maga schools teach not really, it's self-defense, but I got to interact with some dudes from Israel that did Krav Maga, and I was like, oh, you guys are crazy. Like, this is awesome. But yeah, no, I've really done a lot of MMA. Like, doing MMA, you get to meet just a lot of different martial artists. Yeah. I have a very open mind for like training, philosophies, ideas. I'm a huge nerd for stuff like that, and Pokemon. Yeah. Go figure. Everything else I'm pretty macho about. But I've gotten to cross train a lot, and that's helped me like open my mindset of like even like not just fighting but self-defense. Like recognizing like that mindset of training Muay Thai and boxing for self-defense, not just fighting or just training just to be a better person. Because when you realize and get hit in the fucking face really well, life is easier. Like it might be the concussions, but you kind of change the difficulty settings in life when you realize you can fight. Like, and I tell people, like, you don't have to be a fighter to do it. Like, but do it just to be a better person. And that's been my belief in it. And I've gotten to dabble in all kinds of martial arts. So like I've had people pull like even like a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has a huge like law enforcement side of it where it's big about teaching people like disarm knives and guns. So I tell people Jiu-Jitsu has literally saved my life like in hand-to-hand combat situations more than Muay Thai. You know, it has
more practical.
I believe
it's more practical in controlling a situation.
Exactly. Yeah, learning how to like close space. I tell people like, you know, punching someone in the face isn't the best way to defend yourself because people like to sue.
Yeah. Or you could break your hand, or you could.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or they may be bigger than you. Like maybe they're huge.
Like I tell people, I mean, even if you've done jiu-jitsu for like a year and a half, like you're probably still gonna get your ass beat in a street fight, realistically. However, if you're at a jiu-jitsu school and they are teaching like the self-defense of like how to like recognize when someone's reaching into a pocket to close space, like set up arm traps to take people down, like that's very effective. Learning how to use that gi to control situations using clothing, and then. Shout out to Jason Colberth at Carry BJJ. He is primarily, he just said it's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, but he will teach striking to make your Jiu-Jitsu more effective. Cool. He will teach self-defense to make your Jiu-Jitsu more effective. Like he makes people start standing on the wall and he's like, all right, this person's gonna put gloves on and punch you in the face until you take them down. Like it makes it effective. Yeah. It's not just about doing martial arts. It's having an instructor that will make it effective, and they have the experience of working with law enforcement, military. So it's not just like just training is good, but recognizing the environment and how that person is teaching you is what's going to be the difference.
I think with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too, I think you got to have some striking because sometimes you got to soften them up to get them where you need them to get them. You know?
I don't have to throw a cross. I can just, like I was talking about jabs earlier, I have a great fucking jab. Like as a bouncer, bow. Like I'm just like if it's someone like your size, boom, I'm gonna smack you in the face first. But that's also like
what's gonna wake me the fuck up if I don't know what I'm doing. Like if I've never been hit in the face before and you hit me.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times like there's been guys your size and I just crack them like a Philly jab. It's like an open hand, just boom, and they just pop in the lip or the face, and it's that split second of like I just got like if you hit me, I'm like I'm dumb as a horse. I'm, okay, like it doesn't faze me anymore. But someone like you that's really not trained to fight and you're trying to pick a fight and you get hit first, like your brain goes, oh fuck, I'm in a fight. And at that point, I'm already on you like white on rice.
Yeah,
like
man.
I've dragged some big dudes out of bars,
Yeah,
like
man,
just
it
by
happens.
slapping them. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Boy, and maybe they think twice about it.
Yeah.
You get popped in the face. And go,
My first
what
night
is this?
bouncing at Pantana Bob's, a few of the bouncers didn't know me, but the head bartender knew me. He was a wrestler at State, Jeff Green. He knew me. One of the guys working the door, Trey Payne, his dad actually fought in UFC in UFC 2 when they were in Charlotte. And
Oh, wow.
so he knew me through like training and stuff like that. And they called me to the front to help break up a fight. And I had my mouthpiece in from the gym. And there were two dudes about your size trying to come in. And they're like, hey, make Trevor come up. And the guy's like, what the fuck? We're just trying to check IDs. And I come walking up, take my jacket off, pull the mouthpiece out, put it in, and just boxing shuffle up and just go, fuck this, and walked away. So even just sometimes having a mouthpiece in your pocket can make people think twice, man.
why the fuck's he got a mouthpiece?
Yeah, dude. I started just to square up, and I was like, "Come on, just step inside,
I don't
step
have a
inside."
mouthpiece.
And these guys just all of a
Just
sudden
go
like,
home.
you see how like they were
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't want to be
Wait
here
a
anymore."
second.
Like, yeah,
This is a bad idea.
that was my favorite Roadhouse moment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Actually, and I have a buck knife autographed by Hoist Gracie.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really cool how I got it. Someone tried to stab me with it. So yeah. So I broke up this guy was drunk as shit at the bar. I remember going inside. He had a few complaints. I'm like, look, man, one more strike and you're out of here. And then as soon as I walked back outside, someone's like I hear like a bartender go like, Trevor's fucking shoes are gone. And I'm like, this son of a bitch. I go back inside and this dude, I'm like, hey man, where are your shoes at? He's like, I don't know. I think he just kicked us. He's just belligerently drunk.
Yeah.
Escort him outside. And I was trying to find his friend that was with him. A little scrawny, little just string bean of a dude, like just no threat physically. And I took him outside. I'm looking for his friend, going like, hey man, you need to get your friend home. Like you're cool, like you're sober. Let me get you guys a cab. Like how can I get you guys out of here? Little string bean son of a bitch turned around and grabbed someone's beer and just started to drink it off the table outside. And that turned into a shoving match while I'm holding this guy like a child by one arm. And he breaks away. And the guy pulled the beer away, and then I stepped in because he's trying to swing. He's just starting to buck up, and I'm like, I had both hands up, and I'm like, man, you really need not do this. He took a step back, put his hand into his pocket, and with both hands up, I followed in. And when I pulled his arms out, he had a buck knife out, blade already out. And if I had just stepped in, like some bouncers would just try to grab somebody.
Yeah.
If I hadn't known like which way to step or just to grab the wrist or to like, and I mean after I took the knife away, like he met the earth pretty hard.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say,
the
yeah.
cops were watching. That was fucking cool. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why were you
Eat
watching?
pavement. Eat
like,
pavement,
yeah,
right?
they're like, but no, man. If I didn't know like just which way to step, like just recognizing the situation, like
Yeah.
you like that is so much more important. And so then like Hoist Grace was in town doing a seminar. I'm like, hey man, I Hoist Grace somebody last night, and he was like, oh shit, that's dope. And got her autograph now. Yeah.
Awesome.
I should have brought
That's
it with
cool.
me. Yeah.
That's
yeah, you
awesome.
should brought it in.
But I tell people, man, like jujitsu, finding like just doing jujitsu is good. Finding someone that can teach you like striking and self defense behind it as well is like.
Yeah.
If you want to go out and compete at like Abu Dhabi or IBJJF, like there's a lot of great schools out there that are just competitive, but like jujitsu itself is self defense oriented, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about like Taekwondo. My kids all did Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo and karate when I was really young, but most of the Taekwondo people I know would tell you that black belt's just the beginning.
It absolutely
literally
is.
like, you know, a black belt is a white belt that never gave up, right?
It's like the oldest saying around it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, but you hit black belt, and I feel like that's the beginning of the journey, right? Like, I really feel that way.
You just kind of figured it out. You've just now figured it out.
You've just
Yeah.
figured out like I think a lot of people hit black belt and quit, and then it's a major difference between that person that got to black belt and then kind of went from there. But
I mean, you definitely see that in like Taekwondo. Well, like it depends. Like stuff like Taekwondo and karate, people say that, but there's not much room for growth with like because a lot of traditional martial arts are set katas.
Yeah.
It's like it's a very you guys from like that similar like box mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Forms
that
and
or that
stuff.
echo mentality. Or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Taekwondo and karate is really bad about that echo mentality. So they feel like even though they are a black belt, they're still growing, but they're really not growing because there's so many set limitations of what you can and cannot do. With jiu-jitsu, when you're a black belt, hey man, you're still gonna get your ass kicked. You
And it's
got to keep
constantly
learning.
evolving.
It
They're
is. Yeah,
constantly
jiu-jitsu is
creating
always
new
evolving. Where Taekwondo and karate, like
things, yeah.
a lot of people quit at black belt because they hit black belt and they go, oh, there's really nothing left for me to grow in. Like I'm just redoing the same forms. And technically in jiu-jitsu, when you're a black belt, you're doing the same forms and techniques over and over, but it's actually evolving. There's actual like competitive mindset, and the philosophy is always about growth and taking care of yourself. Well, Taekwondo is just
new
a black
moves
belt.
too, right? They're constantly adding new techniques.
I mean,
guess.
yeah, you are seeing like little modifications, like wrist locks, joint locks, like shoulder like locks, choke, stuff like that. Like people are doing crazy shit. It is always changing. You have to be on your toes. If you get your black belt in jiu-jitsu and you stop thinking that you can get better, you're going to be a shitty black belt.
Yeah. They need to make it where you can go backwards a belt.
I know. So there are people that have done that. Like there's a guy, Ensign Inoue, I think. He was a big fighter from Hawaii or Japan. And I remember when he started doing jiu-jitsu again, he was technically a black belt, but he stopped training the gi and he was doing just MMA. And when he started doing jiu-jitsu again, I can't remember what school it was at. He actually was like, all right, I'm going to demote myself to brown belt. Like, you can personally choose to demote, because he was like, I'm no longer, like, I don't deserve to be a black belt right now the way I've looked at it. So he made himself a brown belt. And he had
that.
Yeah. And I was like,
that.
that's badass.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think you should do that.
It's cool.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be able to, I think in life and business and everything, you can't attain something and then just have it by default forever. You've got to fight for it, man. If you're in the business world and you think just because you got there once, you get the rest of your life, that's not the fucking way
Some
it
people,
works.
like, it doesn't matter what it is, but a lot of people get that it thing and then they stop.
That's right.
And then they feel like 10 years down the road, they're still happy about their it, but it's no longer. You're like, I know people like that. Like they're happy about their it from 10 years ago, and it's not even relevant anymore.
Man, they're not relevant anymore.
Exactly. People.
Man, I don't want to say
that's
his
a
name.
heavy thing for people to like
man.
deal with, man. Like
I know a guy that made, we'll say $50+ million, and I met him over a decade ago. Okay, wealthy guy. But he
still happy about his $50 million.
Bro, he checked out. Well, now his $50 million is more like $18 million, which hey, woe is him. But the point is,
boo-hoo, $18 million. I'm like, fuck that guy. Have you seen my bank account, bro?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But 50 to 18 is a huge shift, man.
That's
but here's the problem,
massive
man.
shift,
He didn't work on his craft. This guy's not an active business. He's not in the business world anymore. I can't carry on a business conversation. I ran into him recently. I'm not dogging the guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he cannot, all that momentum, everything that he had working for him, it stopped.
Yep.
He stopped working on his craft. So he can't pick back up. He's talking about picking back up, right? And he does things like, and if this is part of your portfolio, that's fine. But he does things like his creative ideas. I'm gonna buy a storage building to rent out, right? Like now he's trying to figure out ways to deploy his money so it creates some type of revenue because
his
he realizes
mindset is 10 years in the past.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but he realized his money is going down, and he's not on the cutting edge like he was.
Yeah.
So the difference of this is, what's his name with Amazon, right? He had a chance
Bezos,
to,
yeah.
but he could have cashed
He's
out.
asking for fucking money to help. I'm like, dude, you're a billionaire. Like for a relief fund.
He
Fuck
could have
you.
quit at $100 million when he made the $100 million in the late '90s and or early 2000s. He didn't, right? Like, but that's the thing.
Like Mark Cuban, same thing. Yeah,
man. You gotta. There's not any point you should get to that you quit working on yourself.
Yep.
Or whatever your thing is, and it frustrates the shit out of me.
If I think like the first time like I really cornered a fighter as a coach, I was like in my early 20s, and I was cornering fighters, and I was like, if I was happy about one fighter's accomplishment, I would not have grown as a coach. I've never been happy with my success as a coach, and it's not financially. Like I've had a lot of guys win titles. Like I've done a lot of seminars. I've gotten like the fact that Muay Thai has paid for me to go to California and work as a judge out there. Like I've done a lot because my mindset was always like, how do I stay ahead? Like how do I change this?
Yeah.
Like I'm never. Like I am happy in celebration of the moment, but immediately the first thing in my head is like, how do I improve this? How do I get better? Like too many guys are happy with good lucks of streak. Like they don't have one good year; they have like 5 good years.
Yeah.
But they just stay happy about those 5 good years, and you see them then you see guys starting to lose or fall behind because their mindset is stuck with that good streak, man.
Yeah.
That good streak keeps going if you keep changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get complacent.
Yeah.
Complacency is a motherfucker, man.
5 years is a footnote in your life. I mean, literally a footnote. Warren Buffett.
Remember how we looked at high school was going to last forever?
Yeah, man.
And now we look back and it's like high school is a blink of a fucking eye.
Age is relative to your. I mean, time is relative to your age.
Yeah.
So the older you get, the faster it seems to go by.
I tell people after high school, if you're not stuck in that college degree mindset, life does change every 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Like every 4 years you're a freshman again. And that's how I look at coaching. Like I told fighters, I'm like, hey man, if you think about it, like you're 4 years into being an active fighter. You are not really even graduating high school yet. Yeah. And they're like, oh shit. I'm like, you're about to go to college. You're about to become a pro fighter. You're about to go to college. You get your doctorate when you're a world champion, like and stuff like that. And guys go, "Oh shit, I got a lot ahead of me."
You got a lot of work, man.
I'm like, man, you might have had 2 good years as a fighter. Better keep that up. Those 2 years ain't gonna matter. Fucking 10 years down the road.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I respect people. So like Warren Buffett's going to live on for hundreds of years, like what he's accomplished, and that's a money thing. But think about musicians. Think about actors. Think about actors that were in their craft for 50 years, 60 years. Like that, I respect the hell out of that because, you know. And Nicolas Cage, man. Everybody dogs on Nicolas Cage. This motherfucker's in every movie.
He is such a good actor. Like, no one can scream like that.
I'm telling you.
No one can be Nicolas Cage except for Nicolas Cage.
I don't know anybody that's done more movies than him. But my point though is he's in his craft, right? I don't know if he ran out of money.
He ran out of money. That's why.
I remember being in the Bahamas and I saw
that motherfucker's still like.
He's still a good actor though.
Yeah, he is.
And that guy, he won an Oscar. Like, but he won an Oscar with Leaving Las Vegas. Is that he won for best actor, and guess what he did? He kept acting. He was like he got that golden goose, and he was like, all right, cool, boom. Like seeing Nicolas Cage yell now, it's so much crazier than it was. But he's worked on his craziness, man. Man. Like Mandy, pinnacle.
That was good. I like that movie. That just came out too. The
Sound of Space. Oh
yeah,
man. I was gonna watch that.
The Color Out of Space.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. The Color Out of Space.
Yeah, Color Out of Space. I like it.
It's good.
Yeah, it looked trippy. I like it.
Yeah. So, but people that work on their craft, man.
Yeah.
And how do you expect to, like, you're gonna get dethroned if you don't work on your craft. I don't care what it is you do. So, and that's like, I respect the hustle.
You're supposed to get dethroned.
You should,
You're supposed to lose. Like I tell people, man.
That's exactly right.
Fucking stop thinking about winning if you've never lost.
100%.
That's
man.
right. Yeah.
Like, god damn, I'm so good at losing.
Oh, man.
That's why I'm so, like, I tell people, man, like, after I'd lose a fight, like, trust me, I was a very okay fighter. Like, I'm naturally talented and athletic in some ways. I just didn't have that drive to be, like, number one. It's just, fighting was, like, something I enjoyed doing, but it's like, man, like, that losing and fighting really helped me with everything else, man. I lost my first 2 kickboxing matches when I was a teenager. And I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I want, who I am in life. And like, it's like, I remember someone was like, hey, you should do kickboxing. I guess I should do kickboxing.
Yeah,
and then it's like, I lost at that. Then I went, well, I should do this again.
Yeah.
Lost again, and then I won. And it's like, oh shit, like this is neat. And,
That's right.
And it is. And it's like you cannot, like all these, it's like with comedy. Like you have a lot of people getting into comedy with no life experience. Life experience is coming back from losing.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see a movie written by somebody who's lived, not some kid just out of school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. Like these, like a lot of kids, man. I'm so glad I got into sports at a young age. I'm glad I had competitive athletes as parents because they were fucking assholes about, like, they're so real about stuff. Like, my dad lost the use of his legs and became a world-class athlete. Again, he was an Olympic coach. Like, I don't have much sympathy for people that are upset about one little bad moment.
Yeah,
like, it's like, man, I've lost so much in my life, and that's why it's easy for me to keep going, man.
Yeah.
Like, I look ahead and I'm like, I'm going to have some worse losses in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it could be financially,
Absolutely,
it could be a limb, my dog, whatever. But it's like, shit, life goes on, man.
Right.
And
you become really resilient.
yeah, you see the people that hit a speed bump can't get over a speed bump, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a bump in the road.
And that speed bump derails the fuck out of them, too.
People treat speed bumps like a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And it's like when you hear a new comic talk about, this bombing was the worst thing in my life. And I'm like, you had a soft-ass childhood, bro.
Yeah.
You just had a few people not laugh at you.
Yeah.
I have had people laugh at me for fucking up. Like, trust me, bombing's easy, man.
Yeah.
Like, God, even losing as a coach, man. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm at fault. Like, if my fighter lose, if a fighter doesn't listen, that's why I lose, I'm definitely right in that scenario. But,
right.
No, it's like, as a coach, I've had those moments where it's like, a mistake I made, like, in my craft is what cost them, like, that loss. Like, not teaching them, like, during this fight camp, not really, like, working this bit of ring control, not working this bit of extra cardio, this bit of extra clinch work. And I'm like, fuck, that's where the guy lost the fight. And it was just, and they lost by a matter of inches, man. Like, and I'm like, that's on me as a coach. And some coaches will take that and they put that blame on their students. Where me, like, if I know, like, I really fucked up as a coach, I'm like, that's on me. And, like, I can see where, like, you know, it went wrong. But, like, that's also what makes me grow as a coach.
That's right.
And it's why I can reiterate, like, when I coach people, it's why I can talk about it like I do.
Yeah, so. A real leader is going to take responsibility for any part of his team, period. At the end of the day, it stops with me. I'm the man looking in the mirror. I can't blame other people.
Yeah.
So what can I do differently? Because you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react in that situation, right?
Yep.
And if you lose, man, losing is not the end of the world. I don't know why people are so scared to lose.
People are so scared to fucking lose, man.
It's going to happen.
They won't even try.
Yeah.
So my son, my 9-year-old, he does rock climbing, cliffhangers in Mooresville, right? And he's on a rock climbing team now. Yeah, he loves it. And so I get my big ass up on this wall and I climb. And at first, I came up with a really good analogy. So the further I climb up the wall, especially in the beginning, and when I have other people that I'm doing it with, the fear grows as you climb. As the distance from the ground gets further, your fear goes up.
Yep.
And this is like in business. When you're chasing success, the closer to success you get, the further away from the ground you get, the more fear will determine your decisions and how you move forward. And some people let that fear demobilize them, and they will quit. They will stop. Literally, I've seen them stop. They get halfway
up. Bro, they look at the top and they look right down.
Yeah, man. They look at the top, and they could literally be the same distance from the top as they are the bottom, and they'd rather take the trip to the bottom. And they won't get back. Yeah, man. They won't get back on the wall. Yeah. And what's crazy is the last few feet before getting to the top are probably, especially for somebody who's not a regular climber, are the most gut-wrenching, right?
Yeah.
But it's the most rewarding to get there. So it's like
I tell people you're not at the top until you die.
No. Yeah.
Like you have up until you die to keep getting better at something.
That's right.
That's true.
So I tell people like every time you found some success, you just found a notch to hang out on just to get some breathing room. Yeah. Like that's how I tell people, like if you're climbing, if that's your analogy, then you're always climbing until you die.
That's right.
You've hit the top when you fall in that coffin. But along the way, man, you can find some little nooks just to like kind of rest on. It's like, all right, or you can find a space to actually sit your ass on and be like, oh, cool. This is my moment. And then you can take time to look ahead and go, fuck, back to climbing. And you're going to do it until you die.
Yeah, man. You should be working on, you got to do
morbid,
something.
but true. It's,
well, it's enjoyable too. I mean,
I'm going to be buried with a pair of focus mitts on my hand. Like I tell people, man, like focus mitts, like holding mitts for me, like in boxing, means so much to me. Like I want, watching the Rocky movies as a kid, I fell in love with the coach.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's
come on, kid, you can hit harder than that.
He's just, but all he's known is boxing and fighting, and like he had his moment, like training a champion, like right before he dies. Like he dies in the third one, but like his life is what? He's just in his gym eating crackers and soup. Yeah. He hears people hitting the bag. He's like, that guy's gonna be a good fighter. Like I want to die with a pair of focus mitts on my fucking hands. Like I want to be geriatric, held up by like a marionette, whatever the future, like or like one of those robotic suits from Aliens, like it'll hold mitts for me. Like I'll be stuck in it. Like I'm gonna do that until I die. And that's what makes like the climb so much more enjoyable. Like knowing how much more is ahead, because I could have another 50 or 40 years in me, or 2 years.
Yeah.
And so up until I hit that coffin or wall or fire or whatever, like it's
jet ski, water,
Mexican Armada, because who knows where life could go in a few years. Like I don't know, man. But like up until that point, like, hey, shit, just keep doing what you love, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
If you wake up, to me, the day's opportunity. Like I get up and I'm like, I want to do something. I want to accomplish something today. We were talking about keeping our crews busy earlier, right? Keeping our guys busy. It's ultra important to accomplish something every day. Like, and I got to do a lot of things, man. I just, if I sit at home,
you have to do a lot of shit,
bro. If I don't, if I sit at home, man, I love my kids, I love my wife, I love my family, right? I need that in small doses because I've got to do something, right? And I've got to do something. So I'll do one-on-ones with each kid to spend 2 hours with them each, and then I'll take them all out and go do stuff. I do one-on-one with my wife, obviously, give her some time, right? Her and I some time, but then I got to go do some shit, man. If I spend the day with the family, when they go down to bed, I'm spending 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm working. I'm getting some shit done.
You have to be, man.
Yeah.
Like that's good to hear. But it's like
that's when you're creating.
Yeah, man.
Too many people also, like I've done this as a coach where all I'm doing is just coaching, and I've burnt myself out on what I love to do. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I recognize I'm burnt out and I still love this. Like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, I'm not busy with other things.
Yeah.
And like comedy became like that great, like comedy is not a lifestyle for me. Like it's a great hobby. It's something to improve on and work on. I'm like, oh, I'm such a beginner at this. Like it's like I'm known up and down the coast as a great coach. I'm known like out west as a good coach. Like it's like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
And then comedy's become that. And then like even like through martial arts, getting
into
it's
a fun outlet too.
It's such a fun outlet, man. Just go up there, get a few beers and just riff on a stage, man. It's so much fun. It's like going to a smoker. Like that's what it feels like. Yeah. Hopping smoker to smoker, getting knocked out at one place to get fucked up at another. Like, all right, time to go bomb over here. Like whatever. But and then like get like the judging, announcing, and like once I found out like how busy I could be through martial arts, helped me fall back in love with it even more.
Man, have you noticed some of these people that are just on it? Like, and I feel like Joe Rogan's used so much. I'll say like Ryan Seacrest. We'll say that one, okay? Like the dude had one thing that took
He's
off,
the guy.
right?
What does he do? No, I'm kidding. No.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, no, he's
Another example. He's always doing shit.
He's always
a hustler.
doing shit. Yeah,
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I respect a fucking hustler, man.
Yeah.
Like
people can clown on Ryan Seacrest being cheap. Like that is a cheesy motherfucker.
yeah, 100%.
But you know
He's
what?
a hustler, though.
He is also 100% Ryan Seacrest,
100%.
and you cannot take that from him.
100%.
Like,
But he hustles, man. I
He
respect.
does.
I don't have to agree with you, and
Yeah.
Ryan's not somebody I disagree with totally, but there are
Just what
people.
you're into,
yeah, there are people that I'm not into, or people that I don't agree with, but I still respect the hustle. I'm like
Taylor
these
Swift.
guys-
Absolutely.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's a hustler, man.
Dude,
Yeah,
she.
I don't. I like some of her stuff has been like okay, but I
mean,
got some.
She's a rich girl from like Pennsylvania or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like,
I've got
she-
some.
yeah,
I've
like,
got
she's
some
not
opinions that
country
probably
at
wouldn't
all.
be received well. A lot of fangirls out there are gonna rip me if I say anything. So, but what I will say is she's a hustler, man. She's gonna be
Yeah.
super
You can
successful.
respect Taylor Swift. Doesn't mean you don't have to
100%.
respect her fans. I don't
Exactly.
like her fans.
To make it in that business is freaking insane.
Oh, yeah,
like
man.
anybody that makes it becomes. Here we are talking about her. Well,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
did something.
No, she
That
did.
she
But
fucking did something.
I respect the. I don't care what the thing is. You got to respect the hustle, and you can't get to that level. I'm not talking about one-hit wonders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the level that she's at and other people like her. You don't get to that
Kevin
without.
Hart, The Rock.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
you don't get
oh
there.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock, for God's sake, yeah. Like that man is gonna be the next president. I
Bro,
think
yeah.
like he's gonna be the president
I'd
from
vote for him.
Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, some of these guys have been. They wake up and they start a TikTok or an Instagram or a Facebook, whatever the hell they start, right? And they want to be. They want to have 20 million followers. They didn't put in the last 20 years of work, 30 years of work, right?
Yeah.
Like you want all these followers. You're not taking care of the followers you got, right? Like it's so crazy
What
to
I
me.
what I hate is seeing people that have a follower based mindset.
100%.
If you're in it for followers, then you've got nothing to lead with, bro.
You're right, man.
Like followers find you.
That's right.
Like it's
Bring content.
God damn, I sound like a cult
Yeah.
leader, but it's true. But it's
No,
like
yeah, deliver value to
yeah.
to your business, to your clients, to your followers, whatever. If you bring value, everything else works
Dude,
out.
when I walk into a fight night, like I got people all the time, like, man, I love your videos, all this, all that, and I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't realize I had a fan base, and that's what I'm doing. Like I'm like, oh, now that I found out, like I am so in my own fucking head, like blinders on, like I don't know who I just ran off the road, I don't know who I just pissed off the grocery store, but like I'm so forward in doing what I do, like I don't realize like things I've gotten good at or like followings I've created. Where now it's like, oh, like I built an organic like fan base,
Yeah.
which a lot of people, everything expect a fan base to be online. And I'm like, no, you have to build an organic fan base. You have like
Yeah.
an actual, like, so in the RDU, North Carolina, like I have a
Yeah.
fan base. Like, and I'm like,
We have to create something people want.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
and then now it's like that learning curve of like, okay, how do I get people in California? And actually, like I have more followers from California than I do like in North Carolina right now. And I'm just like, oh, so what am I doing differently than North Carolina then? And it's like finding out ways to, how do you find like these online invisible followers now? And it's so fun to like change up content. Like just being quarantined with my girlfriend, I put up some videos. People are like,
That was some funny shit,
dude,
man.
like, and people are like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, I just said, hey, babe, come to the kitchen and just run into my ass real quick. And
Bro.
like, people are like dying about
Yeah.
like the axe shower
The
thing.
axe
like,
shower, man. I showed my
Dude,
wife the other
yeah.
day. She's like, what do you? I was like, I got to show you this shit. It's hilarious because I am spending more time than I normally spend, so I can kind of.
We're gonna do it when I get back with like because today like the lockdown starts at like 5 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I've got something to like do today, and people are like, "How do you think about this?" And I'm like, I just turn the camera on and I tell her to do something, and then we just do it. But it's
Yeah.
like if you like realizing that you have a mindset for content is a good thing to find out as well. We're running out of time.
We're almost down to one card. We're almost through one card. I was asking if we have another one after this.
Oh no!
If we have to worry about it. If
Yeah,
not,
no,
then we
man.
can let it go.
We're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, it's finding out like I have actually someone helping me with Donna Natosi. I have to give her a big shout out. She runs a lot of social media pages. She used to run one for run it for Spectrum. Now she runs it for a bunch of like businesses and like restaurants back home through Empire Eats. And she's been showing me how to like push content to YouTube.
Right. That's cool.
And realizing it's like, oh man, like the little videos I did, I'm like, oh, those are just like good for Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
actually put work into the YouTube videos. Because you see some like half-ass YouTube videos, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, like you can half-ass Instagram.
I have to go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Do you think?
Hey, it's your health is
If you shake
important
it
to
more
me.
than twice, you're playing with it.
But it's like realizing like the different like content venues and stuff. Like some people just see like, if I'm on Instagram, I'm gonna have followers, man. No, and you can put too much effort into Instagram
No, you
sometimes.
can't, man.
Like
I'm having a good time figuring it out. I feel like the old fuck, like
a
year
Donna said
ago-
I was lucky that I just have a life that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, because like who I am on Instagram is who I am like all the time. Some people like you meet some people and I'm like, oh, you're just that person on Instagram.
You're
like,
fake.
In person, you ain't shit. And like you meet that with like the influencers and models
I hate
and
that
wannabe
shit.
porn stars and shit like that. And then there's like, you meet some fake motherfuckers, man. Like this, kids growing up with social media has really fucked up a lot of kids on what they want to do. Like I didn't have Facebook until I was like 21 or 22, and even then, like I just didn't know what the fuck I was. Like I'd never cared about it, and like everything I put it was like it was just like my daily shit, or it's like, hey, here's a picture of my broken nose, like shit like that.
Man,
some people try to make a persona around social media instead of making their own persona.
Tanner Plains, I met him. I think I was like 16, 17. I talked about him before on the podcast, but definitely in the social media, he actually has legitimate businesses, right? Like he's been in this building. I've seen him work. I've seen him put in work in Arizona. So he's not living the lie, right? There are a ton that I have met. I know about guys with hundreds of thousands of followers, right? That don't know anything about business. I'm talking about legit practical advice. Like they don't know how to buy a property, but they're portraying like they're this wildly successful business person. Really what most of them are doing are just they're buying some luxury thing, some luxury item, posting about it and pretending to be something, right? It drives me absolutely crazy.
I hate that shit, yeah.
And so
I see that in martial arts, like people that just go to the gym to put the persona up that they work hard, train hard, they are this, they are that, and I'm like, you are not like that in what I do. Like I'm a happy guy. I'm a nice guy. I can also be the meanest, nastiest motherfucker if I have to be.
Right.
And I do not like really fake people, man. Like the people that want to try and put this persona of like online, they're like, I'm a badass, I'm a beast. I'm like, you ain't shit, and you're gonna find out in a really rough way really soon. Like back in the day, I was notorious for guys coming to the gym talking big game, and I was like, fuck yeah, this dude wants to bang. They were not there to bang, and they found out. Like I'm 5'8", $175 on a good day. And I will just go, if someone says you're a badass, I'm going to stand in front of you the whole time. And you better show me you're a badass.
Man,
like
if I walk in the gym,
like you being Mr. Business, like you see fake business people, you're like, fuck that. So like when I see someone, like I don't put off, like I'm not trying to say I'm a badass. I'm not trying to, like, but people will say, don't fuck with him. Like, and I don't have to say it. So when I see people saying, I'm not to be fucked with, I'm like, if you're the one saying, if you're the one saying that and no one else is, it's fake. Like, it's fake.
No, and even with business, let's say that I'm around somebody else and people that are in the business world know. I know instantly. I shut the fuck up. Like if I'm around somebody, and it's not about where I'm at right now financially. It's not about that. It's not about counting commas, right? Like, and I'm gonna steal that from you now. It's my new thing, right? Hey,
there are a lot of people that are chasing commas that are never gonna have them because they look at the comma instead of like the process to the comma.
That's it, man. But I hear somebody that's got some knowledge.
Like
and I shut the fuck up. Period. Like I will talk your ear off, but when I'm around that person, I'm listening. I'm asking questions.
Yeah. If you have less experience, like, I it's like when I have like someone that's a comedian that's done it for maybe like 2 or 3 years, trying to give me some really snooty, snarky advice, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen.
Yeah.
If it's like someone like we were talking about that guy Mark Brady earlier.
Yeah.
When he talks, I fucking listen because it's the experience behind it, man.
I got new cats that new guys that we bring in and stuff like that, and not. One new guy in particular is the thing I'm talking about him. I'm not talking about him, but I have other people that I bring in, and that's you, Garrett. And but I have other people that I bring in that they come in and they're trying to give me all these ideas. Like they're trying to tell me how to change, I will say some version of self-employed since 13.
Nice.
Period.
Wow. Good for you.
Some version of whatever that may be, right? But the point is, I'm very open to ideas, but like you got to earn the right to open your mouth, right?
Yes.
You can't just come in and you've been here 2 weeks or 30 days or 6 months, and I got guys been here a decade that have earned the right to say what they need to say.
Yeah, people need to realize that their own opinion is not that important.
No, man.
Like I tell people, like I literally talk for a living, so that's why, like with comedy, I was already getting paid to talk for a living before I got into comedy. So I'm very like I like guys that are in a year like me. We like sit down, we do our notes together, and like we're like that's our group, and like I know the guys to listen to, and it's all about recognizing the experience there, man. Like even in like fighting, like if someone is like I get so fucking mad when someone that's not a good coach, and this happens, like there are not the best coaches, but they have an amazing student.
Yeah, that happens.
And then that coach tries to give me advice, and I'm like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to give your fighter all the applause in the world for beating my guy, because if you're in a fight with one of my guys, it's a hard fight.
Right.
And I'm like, man, when we lose, it's like, I'm like, oh, don't be that coach. Like, man, you got to tell your guy to do that. I'm like, oh, you shut the fuck up right now. That stuff drives me up the wall. Like, people that see, like, their minute success, like, they're like, hey, you should listen to me because of my... I'm like, no. Like, I'm not going to tell you a goddamn thing about business.
Bro, Matt
I might
asked
talk
me.
to you about, like, dieting or something like that, but I'm not going to talk to you about...
We'll talk business all day long, man.
Yeah.
Because
But I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like, hey, you tell me because...
I'll probably listen, but about the second or third time, I'll be like, man, I got this. I'm much more respectful today than I was 10 years ago. But I'll tell you, man, you got to be open to learning and growing, and I work on my business. I read. I mean, I've averaged 50 to 100 books a year for, I don't know, a decade.
Yeah.
My mother, like I'd set a reading record. My next youngest brother would break that reading record. The brother behind him would break that record. The brother behind him, my youngest brother, there's 10 years and 26 days between us. He broke that record, right? We have a family of records that went on at schools, and it's probably still on to this day, right? So we brought up, I can't read a novel to save my life, but acquisitions, finance, math, business, anything motivation. Like, I'm on it. I can read the book, right? I read, I do podcasts. I'm working on my craft. These are things I'm doing to fill time when I'm not. Like, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm doing something.
You have a hard time binging stuff on Netflix, don't you?
Oh, man, I can't do it,
I
bro.
can't see.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I get so mad when people say, "Oh, I binged this all week."
man.
I'm like, how? Like, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I like to put a movie on, and I'll maybe get halfway through it. When I hear people say they binge watched an entire show over the weekend, I'm like, you wasted. When you come to work on Monday, and if I hear you fucking complain about getting nothing done,
exactly.
Yet you watched this fucking season 1 through 3 of Ozark, fuck you, bro.
For me, binge watching is like, I'll watch 3 episodes of something that's a binge.
You know, like
and I'll make myself stop.
I will say
I'm
this
like,
because
okay, I've got to stop.
Thursday night, I think I watched most of season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm because I had literally I'm actually at that point where I am forced to do nothing but binge watch, and I am going, how the fuck do people do this with their free time?
They do it, but you know what? They leave work at, let's say they leave work, whatever time you leave work, Friday 5 o'clock. You leave work, okay? You live for the weekend. You work during the week. You blow your entire wad over the weekend, or you sit at home on the fucking couch, right? You do whatever it is you do. You show up Monday with the same problems you left with on Friday because you didn't do anything over the weekend, and you repeat the same cycle. That, to me. And then you want to tell me and complain about your life, about your finances, about where you are, that you're tired, you're underpaid. You don't have money to solve problems, right? And I know people like that. I know a lot of people like this that are – I know people that don't even – they're working like 36 hours, 33 hours a week, and they're tired. I'm like, why don't you work more? Why don't you get a second job, a third job? Why don't you ask for extra shifts, right?
Get another job that you want to go to.
Or use that extra time to do something on your own.
Or do that. Or
create something.
Get your real estate license. Pursue something. Like, stop being lazy and then asking me for a handout, right?
A 40-hour work week ain't
shit. No, man.
Yeah.
Like, you want to put 40 hours. I'm putting 80 to 100 hours in a week and have been for a decade
like
plus.
When I used to be known for partying, like 3-day benders, like Friday, but that's because Monday through Friday was like a long day of me getting my ass beat, working my craft. And then even on the weekends, like I would go party at night, but midday, I'm still working on shit. And then I earned my free time to fuck off.
That's right, man. Yeah. And you know, back, and I don't do this much anymore. I mean, it's been a while. But if I would fuck off all night, whatever that may be, at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, or if I made it all night, oh well, I'm up the next day. I'm paying for it all day, and I don't know how many. I had way too many of those days. It took years of those types of days popping up every once in a while, to where I was finally like, fuck, man, I'm going to bed. And I'll do that now. Like, everybody, the party's going, and I'm like, or whatever, the event, the people, the hangout, whatever's going on.
Oh, I have had parties at my old house. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Like, it's midnight, and I'm like, bitch, I worked today, and then I got sparring in the morning. Like,
y'all have fun. I'm going to bed, man.
Like, but it's your house, and I'm like, just don't break anything. I trust you, animals. Like, whatever. Like,
And I'm going to fucking sleep.
I will say this, like, some nights I will, like, one thing that actually helped me is that I used to burn the midnight oil too much. learning how to take a night off.
Oh yeah.
Like that was a hard thing to do. And like, so sometimes like fucking off for, like, I want to mean fucking off. Like I'm going to put a stupid movie on. I'm going to watch The Naked Gun 1 and 2. Like I've got a couple hours. I'm going to fall asleep watching it. But like this, like technically it's a waste of time.
Right.
But because I
give your mind
off,
a break.
it actually, like I'm looking forward to, like the whole time I'm relaxing, I'm looking forward to just foot on the gas in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes,
yeah. And I used to be really bad about not sleeping because I would only get
like
5, 6
when the
hours
mindset,
of sleep.
well, I've always been an early riser.
Well, I'm not.
I've just
I'm a
always been bad about like also going to bed at like too late. Like when
I'm
I was
a night
bouncing
person,
at night, like
but and I would sleep usually 6 hours, 5, 6
7's
hours.
my number now.
But 7 is what
Yeah.
you. I mean, sleep studies have shown that if you get less than 7, you'll end up with brain disease.
Really?
Degenerative brain disease.
I do 7, and I've got sleep
not
apnea,
talking
so I
about
wear a
this.
CPAP. I get 7 hours of amazing sleep now.
Dude,
So I'm trying to go to sleep earlier now. So like last night, I left here, go home, I start working on stuff on my laptop, and then before I know it, it's like 12:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually out like a normal day for me. I'll be out around 12 or 1 a.m. and I'm up at like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But that's also like in all of my 20s. I was usually back in the door from bouncing at like 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m.
Well, in your
like,
20s,
I
that's
was
different.
Yeah.
But even now, still, like I'm proud of myself that I can still run on like naps.
I'll do it.
Like like if it has to be done, like I'll do it.
I'll
man.
do it. I'll
But-
show up.
Yeah,
But
that
you paid for it now.
Yeah, the studies have shown too that if you get at least 7 hours of sleep, you'll be at least 30% more efficient the next day.
Yeah, I do great with 6 or 5, to be honest. Like too much sleep, I'm just such a
I used to
squirrel.
feel that way.
Like, I'm just go. Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way. Like I'll naturally wake up at like 5 hours, but I'll
Yeah.
go back to sleep for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've gotten better about falling back asleep finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. 7's like,
I've been sleeping way too much.
if I
lately,
sleep
it's pissing me off.
9 hours, which
Feels
is, how do you do
You're
that? I feel
I've done it.
terrible.
I feel
I'm
terrible,
terrible.
yeah.
You'd be like,
do
I'm
that.
going to rest today.
I like to do that if I'm not going to go out and party on a Saturday. Like I'll stay in, and I'm like, Sunday's my sleep-in day because I will just be a vegetable.
That's
rest
what
of the
happens,
day.
man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what happens.
So
I don't do it.
You got to have a day, like one day out of the week. Dude. Like I'm from the South, man, so
Yeah.
Sundays are still like that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's beaten into me to have Sundays off. I'm just fucking lazy on Sundays, man. You got to have a lazy day.
I like to get up early now and sit in get some coffee and sit down and write.
Oh yeah, like being
like
up
the
at
best.
5 or
It's
6
quiet.
a.m., man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk
Yes.
about that being up early. There's so much less going on in your head. There's just so much going on in general
Yeah.
that it's just a different energy. Like that
yeah.
early time.
Jesse's an early
brain-
riser.
Yeah, like that early morning focus is a real thing. Like early morning workouts are the best for that shit. Early morning writing for me. I like
Yeah.
early morning bong rips and watching fights, but that's just, dude. No, man. Like some people ask me, like, Trevor, how do you start your day? And I'm like, well, about 5:30 or 6 a.m. I'll wake up. I get a cup of coffee. I take 3 massive bong rips. I put on YouTube knockout compilations and stretch for an hour.
That just sounds terrifying to me.
And dude, it is like my roommates have like walked downstairs and there I am like doing like the Cobra stretch. Like people are getting knocked out on TV and I'm just zen as fucking getting my day going, dude.
trying
me-
to
tell me-
figure out where you are.
Hey, tell me you don't have the double impact goddamn the uniform on when you're doing it. Yeah. The ballerina outfit. That would be.
I'm usually in like a thong for men.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Really be one with nature.
Yeah, your boys come down and be like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah, my dog's in the corner just judging the shit out of me. He's like, dude, I knew you were a hipster, but what the fuck is this? My dog, he's a pit bull. He's like, or she's like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm a pit bull. Like, I shouldn't be living with you. What is this?
Well, I'm not supposed to witness this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
God damn it. You were saying earlier, man, you were in Virginia. So I was in Virginia Beach because my dad was in the Army and we got stationed there.
Oh.
You said you went in the military. Is that why you were in Virginia Beach? Or?
No. I was born in Virginia Beach.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad was in the Navy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my dad was in the Navy. He was a pro surfer, and my mom ran a surf shop.
Okay. Yeah.
So I am just.
That's cool.
I'm a son of a surfer.
Yeah. So I'm
And,
military brat myself. We were in Virginia Beach. We were in Germany. We were everywhere. Fayetteville, obviously. Anybody in the Vietnam. Anybody on the East Coast, if you're in the Army,
You know the hellhole
you know
is
Fayetteville,
Fayetteville,
yeah. So,
Dude.
but yeah, man, I cannot remember where we lived in Virginia Beach, but I do remember it though. I mean, I remember walking.
It was in Virginia Beach. It was post surfing accident for my dad. So like for us, like Virginia Beach for me was like not the best time. Like we moved when I was like 9 or 10, I think. But at that point, it was like me and my two siblings like sharing a mattress on the floor of like this crackhead apartment kind of thing. I mean, it was like, my dad was doing all kinds of shit. Like he was and then my mom was trying to like hold the fort together, and then so then like the family moved us down here just to.
Where were you before Virginia Beach? Or I guess where'd your dad the surfing accident? Where'd that happen at? Do you remember what state?
Virginia Beach, I think. Actually.
Was it there?
Yeah. But yeah, it was a super bizarre accident. But yeah, so he was, I think, and it was tough for him because he was 30 or 31 when it happened. Like, peak. Like, and he was a fucking stud back in the day, man. Like,
you're gonna have to have him watch this and be like, "Hey, how's that inheritance looking?"
There's no inheritance. No. He just has VA benefits and a lot of weed right now.
So he's good. He's good then.
I mean, he's still an asshole. Like, I didn't really know him that much growing up. So yeah, it was he was more focused on being an athlete than a father.
Yeah.
So I have all kinds of daddy issues from that. But it's also like, I got to know my dad in my late 20s, and I went, oh, this is why I'm crazy. Like, I'm the son of a pro athlete, and I'm just a pro athlete at coaching instead of, like, my dad is super competitive. I never got that, but yeah. And so, like, I'm like, oh, this is where the crazy falls in line. Great. Yeah. I hope to God I don't lose my legs.
You guys would be best friends in another decade.
Probably. Like, it's funny, like, even when we hang out, like, we're just buddies. Like, I don't see him as a dad.
Yeah,
like, my friends see us out, and, like, we just shoot the shit. Like, it's just, like, he's just, like, this dude, he's the sperm donor, but, like, I'm like, oh, all right.
He
it's
didn't
like,
raise you.
Nah, not at all, man. My mom totally did, but, like, it is neat just to talk to someone that is so much like me. Yeah, like, we've developed one. It's still weird at times because he's actually, like, insane. But, oh, man, he's a lunatic. But he's so much fun. Like, if he's not your dad, he is so much fun. For me, I'm just like, God damn it, you are my dad still. Can you not be this way? Like, it's, but it is nice just to hang out and talk to him. It's like, oh, like, it is nice to, like, talk to an old reflection in the mirror, kind of, is what it feels like.
Yeah. Interesting.
I feel really lucky, man. My dad was awesome growing up, and I mean,
fuck you.
Yeah, man. I know, man. Dude, well,
I am pouring my heart out, about to get beat up for money by some fucking ogres, and here you are, Mr. Business, telling me how good. Like, hey, Dad, fuck you. Go learn how to walk, and maybe I'll be a millionaire. You asshole.
No, he was good, man. Like, he was in the military, like I said, Army, right?
Yeah.
During the day, he was doing a second job or some version of he's trying to be an entrepreneur at night. My mom was fucking awesome. She was highly intelligent and motivated, took care of the kids. She was a teacher. Like, I really feel like lucky about that. You know?
I love meeting people like that because I'm like, that is great to hear because it's like, I know a lot of people I get along with really well like that because they just have that same drive and work ethic, like minus the trauma. So I can learn a lot from because.
Man, I mean, I'm not going to say shit. Everything was perfect.
Oh yeah, but I mean, no, you grew up on military bases. Yeah. It's like tough. It's
still it was like perfect for me. Like I look back and I'm like, man,
it's still
I was
work
a
ethic.
shit.
Like,
the work ethic's tremendous there.
I have a good relationship with my dad too.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you too.
Hey, what about you?
Yeah. What about your dad?
It's
fuck you.
Well, actually, there's some things. Like,
Well, let's hear it.
Parents stayed together, but my dad died when I was like 21 of cancer.
I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. I'm 45 now, so I'm kind of over it,
Bless up,
but but and what he gave me was knowing what fucking existentialism is at like a 10-year-old level kind of stuff. He threw all this kind of knowledge at me and my mom too.
Yeah.
But he was depressed all the time, and I saw a man who was always in his own way about stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, and it was probably a psychological kind of issues going on. But back, in the 80s, 70s, no one going to therapy and shit like that.
No, men weren't allowed to talk about shit.
No, so he never did, But we got along okay. But it was always this kind of air of like anger, constantly.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it was hard to kind of. I've had a lot of time to examine it now. But,
I had a stepdad like that. Like, he was always in his own way, and he was never successful because he was literally in his own way.
Right.
And he was so hell-bent on trying to be successful that he never became successful. Like,
Right. He was literally in his own. He could have done all these things. He was a dentist before, in another lifetime before I came around.
Really?
Right. He was a college professor, all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
He finally found what he really wanted to do in life because he built musical instruments and stuff like dulcimers and banjos and all kinds of stuff like that. He was just half our house was his shop, and so like got into doing that kind of late in life. You know, he probably would have been very successful now because everybody was coming around buying his stuff, which he sold way too cheap.
Right.
But I saw that like part of him wanted to build a business, which was good. But then part of him, I could see he was in his own way psychologically.
He probably hated that he was building a business.
Yeah, and I grew up with like he was kind of anti-business.
Yeah.
He was anti all the business
hate
guys
being good at
that
what
he
they're
had.
good at.
Yeah.
All his bosses sucked. He used to like he used to just dream about like just beating the shit
Bro,
out
I'm
of
an
him.
awesome fucking boss. I'm telling you.
You're great.
I'm a fucking awesome boss. But I'm serious. Like, I feel like,
No,
like
that's
I'm
badass.
hard.
Thank you for, like, that's
is.
really cool
That
to
is.
hear. Like that he
Yeah.
put that in you. Like he did all that stuff. I'm like,
That
oh,
is
that's
awesome.
gangster. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very
so I
cool.
know all this shit, but you know,
Like
oh my
people
God.
say, like, dude, your dad's badass. I'm like, no, like that's badass. Like my dad's just hard to kill. Like that's it. Man. He's a stubborn fuck. Like that's
Yeah,
it.
where was the shark at? That's what I want to know.
He was actually bitten. He has a shark tooth that he pulled out of him.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
He got bit like when he was in a kayak. He like rolled over, got bit by a shark, and he has
Oh,
it. Yeah, I had a shark.
wow.
I stopped surfing because a shark bit my board.
Yeah, see?
Dude, that shit, like when that movie Jaws, they talk about the dead beady eye, like that shit is real as fuck, and you do not want to go back in the water.
No, man, I don't want to go in the
Yeah.
water.
I
I
don't
went to
wanna go in the
Ripley's
water either.
Aquarium in Myrtle Beach. Like,
I love
as a-
aquariums, like,
Bro,
yeah.
no, but I went in there and I saw this big ass shark, and I was like,
It gives you goosebumps still. Like
yeah, I'm like, why am I in the ocean at all? Like,
Yeah.
knee high, I'm like, all right.
Fuck that,
I'm like,
like, yeah.
and I'm a shit dad sometimes, I guess, because of this. Like at the ocean, my kids are like knee high, like, oh, and I'm like, nah, bro, like, that's it,
Dude,
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Man.
I love going to the beach. I just don't fuck with the water anymore.
I don't go in the water
Like,
either.
yeah, like I had my fill of it as a kid. I had
Yeah.
some kayaking races when I was younger.
Yeah.
I've done some paddle boarding, which is kind of dope. But like, no,
Well, I remember going on the pier when I was a lot younger
Yeah.
and seeing the guys fishing throw fish back in the water and seeing these fucking like 8-foot, 10-foot sharks.
Dude, even off the
come
coast
up
of
and
North
grab the
Carolina
fish.
right
Yeah.
here, man.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa. And then there's people swimming 50 yards away.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
No.
Some people are like, Trevor, why are
Yeah.
you scared?
No,
And I'm
that's
like, get really close to a shark
Yeah,
without
man.
some glass and you're okay
Oh.
without the
Yeah,
ocean, bro.
scary.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
need to put my namaste picture like at the beach.
I've already
Like,
lost a leg too, so
Do you really have a fake leg?
yeah.
Fuck, what?
Yeah, see, we just talked about this last podcast. No one knows unless he tells them or shows. I forget about it.
You
I
have
forget
such
about
a,
it.
like, I don't know. Like, I
I'm
just
telling you.
couldn't tell, man.
You can't,
Good for
man.
you.
From
Yeah.
You
it's one of
can't.
the knee, so
What was it? What?
motorcycle accident
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
about 7 years ago.
I talked to his
Holy
wife one time when he wasn't around, and she said it's done wonders for leverage.
Actually, it's messed up my leverage. I have less leverage.
That didn't happen. Sorry, Danielle.
I keep thinking if I had a prosthetic limb, like the kind of shit I'd want to like hide in there.
I just-
like
I-
I would make a snack compartment or
Yeah.
something like that. Have you like? Do you have like cool like add-ons to your
I
fake
don't.
leg?
It's,
or, like,
it's a cool leg, but
yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'd show it to you. It's inside a cover, so
You should do like a RoboCop accessory, like have like a hidden gun compartment, like
That would
RoboCop
be awesome.
had.
it's all titanium and aluminum and stuff. So
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan legs.
a little better than that. Yeah. Good technology.
That's
Dude, I'm
badass.
around him all the time, and he'll say something, or somebody else will say something. I'll be like, "Fuck, which leg is it again?" So, yeah, man. My son, when we were at the Comic Dimension at the comic store he owns in Greensboro. This has been like, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But my middle son was like not tripped out about it, but just like really interested. Like, oh, what like what is like really inquisitive.
I mean, I do find it fascinating because,
Yeah.
like, I used to train a kid that had one leg, and I got her to throw kicks off that prosthetic, and it's
Yeah.
just like when I like just in sports and recognizing with fighting all the patterns behind it, I'm like, man, how do you do that on one leg, or how do you do that with one arm? Like, I grew up with but in my wrestling team I had one arm, like, and it's seeing people overcome, like, just how my dad is, like, when I see people overcome like a physical limitation, like that they have no control of, it's fascinating to me just to see like the daily routine and how they go about it. And
Well, humans are very adaptive.
oh yeah,
So if you want to be,
if you want to
wanna
be,
be.
a lot of people just kind of quit.
There's a lot of them out there looking for excuses not to do anything.
Yeah, like my dad, people ask me how my dad's doing, and that dude can literally, he has not moved out of bed for like a couple months at a time sometimes, but that's because he ran his body in the red so hard for so long. Like, he went from like pro athlete to drug addict to pro athlete again to drug addict again, and then back to being like in the ocean, like from 30 to like in his 50s. Like, he lived a whole nother life after. So I'm like, yeah, you can adapt if you want to. Like, I know my dad can't do much, but he knows how to run into the red as much as he can, and he's paying the price. But he's like, yeah, it was worth it. Like,
some people are that way, man.
Yeah.
They're not living life unless they're in the red.
He has to be. He's a lunatic for that. Yeah.
Man,
I'm trying to take care of myself.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah. You're letting yourself go a little bit.
I like to look at you. Gotta say.
Well,
I
there's so many things I want to
stared at
do,
your new
you know.
headshots. I was like, God, he is looking right into my soul.
Did you see the one where he smiles like he's like this, and then it turns into a smile?
If you were a vampire, I'd let you fuck me.
Oh,
I'd be like,
you would make an awesome vampire, man. An awesome
Yeah,
vampire.
do it. Yeah, they want to hire me. So
Yeah. You would be. I can see it. They're gonna have to put some. They're gonna have to dull you out a little bit so you don't have any color in the cheeks. But you could do the vampire for sure. 100%.
I'll take the gig.
Yeah.
Oh man, how long have we been talking for?
Oh, it's been a while.
Over a couple hours.
Yeah.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, dude,
oh my
yeah.
God, it does
Yeah,
fly
we can go
by.
and wrap this thing up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Well,
I was supposed to have a training session right here.
Oh, he's good. Well, real quick, one more time, man. So you had mentioned earlier on, but if people want to follow you, if you want to go through the list again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Trev the punching bag. I've just kind of owned that.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
people get
so-
to know me, they're like, "Oh, you are just a punching bag." I'm like, "That's it." But yeah, Trev the punching bag on Instagram.
Yep.
On Facebook, I have a Chance Muay Thai is my page, but if you look up Trev the punching bag, it takes you right to that page.
Yep.
And on YouTube, just started the channel like last month, and now all this stuff has happened. So it's kind of just, I have a few training videos up there, a few little goofy videos of, and we're just getting it started. Yeah, Trev the punching bag, just see what we can do with it.
Definitely.
The plan is to eventually build like an online catalog of training videos and training tips.
Okay, cool.
And just do stuff like that. It's just like,
Definitely.
all right, just learn how to do YouTube stuff now. I
Yeah.
kind of feel like I've been behind the curve on that, but
Yeah, I
it's fun to
felt
play
that
with
way,
it.
but I think now's the best time to start.
But it's also, I have a lot of experience to put into it now.
Yeah.
Like what I can put into, like what I break down in a video. It's actually, I love
Definitely.
doing it now. Yeah,
And if they want to come out and train with you, your home gym you said was in Raleigh.
yes, Knuckle Up. Yeah, right here.
Knuckle
Knuckle
Up,
Up
yep.
Boxing Gym. Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a blast.
Yeah,
it's
this
awesome.
is
Yeah,
fun.
it's pretty
This is a
cool.
ton of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it again, and maybe we have the fourth or fifth person on with you too, and we have him back out here again.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot of fun.
I'll bring up some Raleigh cats or something
Yeah,
like that.
man.
It'll be a
That'd
ton
be
of
fun,
fun.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bring
Have a
us
round
some
robin
more
day.
chairs.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we got some backup, so I think we can host like 6 people.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah.
We should do our own fight night here.
Yeah, we can do it.
Oh, dude, I would be so hyped to do that. Or we have like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie night, like whatever.
Yeah.
We do that too. Yeah.
One way or the other, we'll have a good
Yeah.
time. Bring your own leotards.
I have a few
right.
you can rent.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys.
All right,
It was
see you guys.
fun.
Yep.